The 44th Mazda Gator Bowl. Michigan State versus Georgia, featuring some of college football's outstanding individual players. The Georgia Bulldogs boast the nation's best core of running backs. The best, Tim Worley, a 216-pound tailback who has sprinter speed, and this season rushed for over 1,200 yards. Sophomore Rodney Hampton is the perfect complement to Worley. As a reserve, Hampton rushed for over 700 yards and scored 6 touchdowns. For 3 years, Michigan State's ground game was paced by Lorenzo White. The new star is junior Blake Ezor, who rushed for 1,350 yards, the 4th best season in MSU history. But probably the best player in tonight's game is offensive tackle Tony Mandrich, blessed with a rare combination of size and speed. There are those who feel Mandrich is the most dominating lineman ever to wear a college uniform. Michigan State excels on defense. The star of the unit is linebacker Percy Snow, who led Michigan State with 150 tackles and was a Butkus Award finalist.
Some outstanding players on both sides of the ball tonight, but Joe, besides the guys we saw on tape, who else can the fans keep an eye on that might have a real impact on this game?
Well, Mike, on the Michigan State side, their quarterback, Bobby McAllister, although he's only thrown 6 touchdown passes all year, he's going to be called upon tonight to perform more in the passing aspect of the game. His main target will be Andre Rison. This guy can flat out fly. They've compared him to a Gary Clark type of receiver. Had 30 receptions for 5 touchdowns this year, has 137 for a school record. He's the guy who's going to really make it happen for Michigan State. In Georgia's side, I mean, you talk about passing, when you talk about Georgia, it's like one of those unknown things. But Wayne Johnson can throw the ball very well, moves it down the field pretty good, and I would look for him to put the ball up a little bit more tonight. But if you really want to find the football, as far as Georgia's concerned, look for Troy Sadowski, their tight end. They run behind him. Now, here's a guy who wears gloves, wristbands, and a towel because he wants to disguise himself as a wide receiver, so just occasionally they may throw the football to him.
All right, Joe, it's also a pleasure for us to having Chris Fowler working the sidelines. Let's go down to him and get his thoughts before the kickoff tonight.
Okay, Mike, thanks very much, and Happy New Year, everybody. You know, these two teams may be very similar, but the two head coaches are very different. For the Spartans, George Perlis, well, he has the only job in college football that he really wants, coaching at his alma mater, and he's been with the Spartans for 6 seasons. Took it to the Rose Bowl last year and then turned down an offer from the Green Bay Packers that would have paid him more than $500,000 a year to stay with Michigan State. He's a tough working-class coach. He loves players that have that kind of mentality, and he's got plenty of them on this year's team. Here come the Spartans. Georgia, you know about Vince Dooley's 25-year reign. He's won 6 Southeastern Conference titles at Georgia, more than any coach except for Bear Bryant. Off the field, he is the consummate Southern gentleman, very controlled, very poised. But as you'll see tonight when he gets on the field, he's just about as animated, as excitable as any coach in college football. And tonight, he leads his Bulldogs out on the field for the final time. Should be emotional for him. ESPN's presentation of the 1989 Mazda Gator Bowl, Michigan State versus Georgia, is being brought to you by Mazda Cars and Trucks, including the all-new Mazda MVP. By Transamerica for insurance and financial services. The power of the pyramid is working for you. And by Precision Tune. We do more than fix your car. We guarantee it.
Here, Atlanta. Pontiac excitement has been building all year. Now it's on overload. Excitement overload at your Greater Atlanta Pontiac dealers. Buy any hot new Pontiac this week, make no payment till March, even on Grand Prix. Buy Grand Prix this week, pay as low as $13,400. $13,400. But hurry, only a few days left to get the $500 cash back that makes it possible. Excitement overload. At Mark Singleton, Beaufort, Richard Wynn, Cartersville, Hardy, Dallas, Buccaneer, Douglasville, Moore, Canton, or McGivney, Conyers.
What under the sun are you growing? Are you growing a family? A better car? Are you growing a new home or a college education? Are you growing toward a secure retirement? Whatever you're growing, you'll grow faster with Decatur Federal. We do more for you than anyone else. We help you earn and save more money, and we do it continually. Whatever under the Georgia sun you're reaching for, come to Decatur Federal. We help you grow.
The weather conditions tonight in Jacksonville, perfect for college football. 66 degrees, a very low wind. The humidity 75%, so conditioning may be a factor before this game is over. We had a shower earlier. The chance of rain the rest of the night is only 40%. Vince Dooley, 25 years, 200 victories, one of the most respected coaches in all of college football. And you know it's got to be maybe the most emotional game of his career, maybe outside of the national championship.
I think having spent the last 2 or 3 days in Jacksonville and having a chance to see him, I think it's gotten to him a little bit more than he's actually let on, Mike.
Georgia won the toss, deferred to the second half, so John Casey will kick it off. And back to receive, Courtney Hawkins, number 5, Alan Fowler, number 23. Both averaging something shy of 18 yards a return. Crowd of about 75,000 on hand here tonight at the Mazda Gator Bowl, making it the second largest crowd of any bowl game this year. It's been that way for a long time. Deep into the end zone, Hawkins takes it, and he will down it there, so Michigan State will start from its own 20-yard line. Here's the way they'll line up on offense. Bobby McAllister is the quarterback, the senior out of Pompano Beach. The running back, Steve Montgomery, and Blake Ezor, the 1,000-yard runner. The wide receivers, the dangerous Andre Rison and Willie Boyer. The tight end, Rich Gusevich. Dave Martin is the center. The guards, Bob Kula and Vince Tata. And the tackles, All-American Tony Mandarich and Kevin Robbins. A run-oriented offense. McAllister on the roll. First play wants to throw. Has it tipped. Aaron Chubb, the defensive end or outside linebacker, if you will, got his hands up and knocked it down.
Well, what happens is McAllister, as he rolls out, they have a man in the flat, but Ezor just doesn't quite get out in front and get the hands down to the defensive man. There goes that big paw, and up it goes into the air. That's unusual, trying to throw to Steve Montgomery. They usually just give Montgomery the ball to keep him happy as their fullback, because it's, like you said, Mike, they run the ball a lot, and it's a tailback-oriented offense. Montgomery's only caught 6 passes this year, only has 9 carries. Bowl games, sometimes you do things a little different. Ezor got to the 20-yard line, and he is stuffed by the nose man, Hiawatha Berry. Here's that Georgia defense, and there is Berry filling in for the ineligible Bill Goldberg. The tackles, Wycliffe Lovelace and Paul Giles. Demetrius Douglas and Terry Webster. The heart of this defense is inside linebackers, Aaron Chubb and Morris Lewis on the outside. The corners, Ben Smith, a good cover, and Chuck Carswell. And the safeties, Vince Guthrie and Rusty Beasley. Guthrie, a former linebacker. Georgia changed its defense this year. 3rd and 10, Michigan State. Ezor on the draw. Stopped at the 29, a yard shy of the first down. Terry Webster got over there. And Vince Guthrie, the strong safety. It will be 4th and a yard, and Michigan State sends on the punting team. Well, Michigan State tried to get Georgia to think they were going to throw the football and run that old draw. The thing is Ezor is 7 yards. He sets 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So before he ever gets there, that's a 16-yard run, although he's only credited with 9. Chuck Carswell, a very dangerous return man, is back to receive, and Josh Butlin will kick it away. Well, he's a horse. 6'5", 230. If he catches all of it, it's out of the stadium. He's been inconsistent, but has an excellent average, almost 42 yards a kick. Georgia put on some pressure and got close. He drives this one. Carswell at the 27. And brought it back to the 38-yard line. Here's the way Georgia comes out on offense. Wayne Johnson, the senior quarterback. Talent behind him, and talent galore. Alfonso Ellis, primarily a blocker. Tim Worley, a great runner. John Thomas and Arthur Marshall are the wide receivers.
The tight end is Troy Sadowski. Todd Wheeler, the All-SEC center. The offensive guards, Anderson and DeFore. The tackles, Adams and Mull. First down, Bulldogs. Across the 40 to the 41 goes Tim Worley. Take a look at the Michigan State defense, and it is a good one. The defensive tackles, Jason Ridgway and Travis Davis. The ends, Vanderbeek and Willards. The middle linebacker, great player, Percy Snow. The outside backers, Carlos Jenkins and Kurt Larson, a lot of talent. The corners, Reed and Donaldson. And the safeties, Miller and Barnett. Barnett missed the first part of the season and the last part coming back for this game. Johnson dumps it to Worley. No one out there to block for him, so Worley does it on his own. Across the 45, maybe the 46-yard line, Percy Snow forced him out of bounds.
Well, Mike, when they swing Worley out like that, isolated one-on-one, their intention really is not necessarily to get somebody out in front as a blocker. They feel like if Worley has the ball in the open field, no matter who it is, there's no one there who can bring him down one-on-one. It's a little bit of a gamble. When you got a horse like that carrying, though, I don't think it's too much of a gamble.
As you can see, both teams have already altered their personalities slightly. Neither one throws to its backs very much at all, or to anyone else for that matter. Third and about 2. Option, not this time. Michigan State swarming. On quarterback, Wayne Johnson dragged him down from behind. Percy Snow is in on the tackle, along with John Buddy. He's number 87, the defensive end. And this is the kind of defense both ball clubs have played all year long. Joey Hester is on to punt. And back to receive, Hawkins and Miller. Standing at their own 10. No pressure. And Hester gets a beauty out of there. Fair catch called for it to 10 by Miller. 46-yard punt, no return, and Michigan State will start deep in its own territory when we come back.
You know, if I've discovered one thing from driving this new Mazda 929, it's this. Not only does it measure up to the great cars of the world with its luxury and quiet, it more than measures up when you introduce it to your favorite piece of road. The new Mazda 929, a high-performance luxury sedan, the Mazda way.
According to a national survey, employers are looking for people who can handle heavy responsibilities. People with the ability to overcome obstacles, perform under pressure, and work well with others. Men and women with the pride and self-discipline it takes to reach new heights. Which is why some of the most successful people in the white-collar world start off green.
Bruce Willis, trapped in a building seized by terrorists.
They have already killed one hostage.
He doesn't want to be a hero, but old habits die hard.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Bruce Willis, Die Hard. The box office smash is coming to video cassette.
A legend has been created. A better battery for the future. Better reserve power with up to 2 hours and 25 minutes. Better protection with a warranty backed by Napa that lasts over 6 years. The legend from Napa. A better battery.
ESPN's presentation of the 1989 Mazda Gator Bowl, Michigan State versus Georgia, is being brought to you by Mazda Cars and Trucks, including the all-new Mazda MPV, and by the U.S. Army. Learn how to get an edge on life. Be all you can be. We're live in Jacksonville, Florida. Both teams have had one possession, have been unable to move the football, and we're scoreless with Michigan State starting with its own 10.
This situation in a football game, when you're backed up with 90 yards for the defense to cover and you've got a back like Andre Rison, run a little play-action pass and let that thing fly, and let's see what he can do. I mean, he's, I think, the best receiver on the field tonight.
Uzor got a couple, took a big hit in the middle from Demetrius Douglas, number 53. Aaron Chubb was also in on the tackle. Georgia's defense handicapped somewhat tonight because Bill Goldberg, maybe the best middle guard they've ever had at Georgia, tested positive for marijuana. and is ineligible for this game, and that really hurts Georgia's defense.
Well, it not only hurts Georgia's defense, I think he let a lot of his teammates down because you play all year to get into a bowl game, and then you do something like that, and you're not hurting yourself as much as you're hurting the guys that have worked hard all year.
Kyle Walker-Berry, 58, is in for him. McAllister forced to scramble. Got it out to the 16-yard line. He's covered there by Terry Webster.
Both quarterbacks, Johnson and McAllister, are excellent runners when they get in the open field. Although Johnson doesn't choose to do it as often as McAllister does, they're not a threat to scramble around and throw the ball down the field. The offenses aren't geared for that. When they get out in the open field, look for them to tuck it under the arm and take off.
Third down, 3 yards to go. McAllister on the roll behind Ezor. He'll keep it. Ezor got him a good block. Beasley chases him out of bounds, but he'll have the first down.
Well, if you're going to run and you got third down and short, why not go left behind number 79, Tony Manders? Now, there he is, taking on Giles one-on-one, and he gets a takedown, he gets a pin, and he gets a helmet. They have categories for him, you know, like pancakes, knocking people off the film. We've just seen Michigan State add a new one to it. It's called a headless block. Take the guy's head off.
And Giles is 280. Of course, that means he's giving up only 35 pounds to Mandarin.
And you know the thing about it, you just saw that graphic. He finished 6th in the Heisman Trophy ballot. For a lineman to be recognized like that, he is exceptional.
Scott Selzer, number 21, is in at tailback. They fake it to him. Throw instead, Rising. Forced out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Carswell made the tackle. First team all Big Ten wide receiver.
There you see now, number 54, Guthrie, is out there to cover him. He walks all the way out. And they just, I don't believe that Georgia can leave Rising one-on-one with anybody. He's just that good a football player. That's Chuck Carswell trying to stay with him, but a lot of room. He's got a lot of speed. There are his numbers. MSU all-time record, 137 receptions. But the impressive thing about him is the yards per catch.
McAllister with time. He'll go to the fullback, Montgomery. Montgomery will get about 6 yards up to the Michigan State 46-yard line.
You know, it's so interesting, Mike. You pointed out before, Montgomery's carried the ball 9 times all year, caught 6 balls all year. He's had a 3rd thrown to him. I mean, he's had 2 thrown to him tonight.
That's right.
In all those football games. They love him, too. He's a walk-on. He came there because his brother, who's a punter in Houston, went to school at Michigan State. And they're just, everybody in the team loves him.
They'll go with 2 tight ends on 2nd and 4, Gasevich and Young. And Ezor pounds his way toward the 50-yard line. Morris Lewis, number 57, in on the tackle. Interesting to hear both coaches say, 2 coaches who have lived on defense and rushing, that they've got to throw the football. And they haven't thrown it downfield very far and probably won't tonight.
No, I wouldn't expect him to throw it, you know. Interesting thing about Coach Dooley, he said when Wayne Johnson throws it, we don't have to worry about, you know, them picking it off very much, because if our guys don't get it, the only thing that's going to stop it is the stands, because he does have a gun and he puts it out a long ways.
3rd and a yard. McAllister on the keeper, dives forward, appears to have the first down. Got the ball just into Georgia territory. Vince Guthrie and Demetrius Douglas on the tackle. Georgia's strength is its linebackers. Just some outstanding people in there with Douglas and Terry Webster. And Vince Dooley has always been able to recruit outstanding defensive players.
Not to mention some running backs.
Not to mention some running backs.
A few of them there.
Well, if he only had one, it was plenty.
You bet.
McAllister on the bootleg. He wants to run. Could get about 3. Took a big hit. Demetrius Douglas was over there. So was Morris Lewis, 57.
This is a misdirection now. The linebackers just hesitate for a second. You see when the back goes the other way. Now they have to come out. Now, a missed block. That's why Demetrius Douglas is out running free and almost tears McAllister's head off. But if you can freeze the linebackers just for a second and everybody gets a position block, you have an opportunity to pick up good yardage.
2nd and 8. Rising is flanked to the near side. And that's where McAllister's looking. Instead, he goes to Montgomery, the fullback. Montgomery across the 40-yard line may have another first down. And Joe, Montgomery all at once is a target.
Well, what you do is you hide Montgomery all year and you bring him out in a bowl game. There, number 79, left part of your screen, Tony Mandrich. He's just not allowing anybody near the quarterback. And the emotions are high. You know, there it is. He'll take care of his own, too.
And one of the officials caught it and has thrown a flag, and Michigan State is backing up.
Well, the Michigan State team, a very close unit. Offensive linemen get that way. They get real close to one another, and they just really protect one another. If one of my guys is being pushed, I'm going to protect him. He's got to use his head a little bit more, though, because the officials are looking for that second hit. Always the second hit gets the flag.
1st and 25. Have a dead ball. Late hit on the offense. Personal foul. 1st and 25.
And that's a big play because it comes after the whistle and moves you back. So it's a first down on the play. And boy, Mandrich, you always find him in that huddle. He's just standing over everybody else.
He is really, I mean, I've only seen arms bigger than his on a guy by the name of Hulk Hogan. I mean, the only other arms I have seen bigger than Tony Mandrich.
And it's not just size. He is extremely talented. Fake to Ezor. Risen. Couldn't hold it. Had it right in his hands and dropped it at the Georgia 40-yard line. The closest player to him, Ben Smith.
Again, a little misdirection. It's just a quick post. Plants that right outside foot. And he was looking to run with the football long before he had it. I just don't believe that Georgia can stick Guthrie out there, who really is a guy who's a strong safety used to support the run. I mean, he's not doing anything to Risen. He's just taking up about 2 feet of space.
Well, his number gives you an indication of what he used to do. 54. McAllister, straight drop back, which he likes. Goes deep sideline, and Risen can't get there. Overthrown. And, of course, on passing situations, Georgia will bring in their pass specialist all the way from Biarritz, France, and that's Richard Tarditz.
You know, he has 29 career sacks, set a record with 12 sacks in a season. Now, here's a guy who the coaches had to explain in drills that you have to tackle the ball carrier. He took on a blocker and knocked him around when they first started with him. Never even concerned himself with the ball carrier. He was so just enamored with the blockers.
3rd and 25, and Tarditz can load up this time. Going around Mandrich, he's double-teamed and gives McAllister some time. Nowhere to go. Guthrie came up and got him at the Georgia 48-yard line. Watch the speed of Tarditz on this play.
He's number 92 now. He comes off the ball. He's not a big guy. He's only 220. But you see him get around Tony Mandrich, and the guard has to come out and help him out, cool him. Which allows McAllister to step up inside, but still put a little pressure outside.
Butland is on to punt. Carswell is deep. So Michigan State gets into Georgia territory, but that's it. With 6:59 and counting, first quarter. Crushed that punt, and it goes into the end zone, and Georgia will take over at its own 20 after a 48-yarder from Josh Butland. First quarter, the Gator Bowl, there is no score.
You might expect a guy who flies a jet like this to drive a jet like this, the Mazda MX-6 GT. If you also expect it to fly through the wide open spaces, you're right. But you probably don't expect to find all this wide open space inside. I guess that makes it the one sports coupe which flies in the face of convention. The Mazda MX-6 GT. Sports coupe, the Mazda way.
This is a change. This is new. Howard Johnson, can this be you? This is Howard Johnson today. This is Howard Johnson today. This is Howard Johnson today. Changing in so many colorful, comfortable, welcoming ways. This is Howard Johnson today. This is Howard Johnson today.
Clydesdales, a symbol of Budweiser quality, of Beechwood aging, the choicest natural ingredients, and a genuine commitment to freshness and taste. One beer lives up to all this. Budweiser.
Welcome back to Jacksonville, Florida. A couple of ball control football teams on the last drive. Michigan State kept the ball for more than 5 minutes and only got to the Georgia 48-yard line.
Well, the interesting thing about it is they threw more than they ran.
Rodney Hampton and Keith Henderson, the new Georgia backfield. And Johnson will keep it. Got maybe a yard. Matt Vanderbeek drove him out of bounds. And what's interesting about Michigan State is they play a very unusual college defense, very normal for the pros, or at least it used to be, that 4-3.
Well, if you were to watch their practice and study their game plan, you would see vintage Pittsburgh Steelers. That's where George Perlis, and he owes an awful lot to Coach Knoll, and he said, hey, I learned a lot from him, and that's what he's trying to institute in his players.
And he loves this defense. We're #1 in the Big Ten against the rush and total defense this year. Johnson with time, throws low and incomplete. Let's go down to the sideline now, and Chris Fowler.
Okay, Mike, one of the issues going into this Mazda Gator Bowl game is whether or not the Georgia players will be distracted by the fact that a new coach has not been named for next year. You may or may not know that Irk Russell, the coach of Georgia Southern, turned down the job, as did Dick Sheridan at North Carolina State. The guys most often mentioned now by the search committee, Fisher DeBerry, the coach of Air Force, Ken Hatfield, the coach at Arkansas, and reportedly Don Nealon of West Virginia, although some debate whether or not he'd be interested in taking that job. Fellas?
All right, Chris, and the recruits start coming next week, so it's important they name a coach very soon. 3rd and 8. Johnson rifles it complete. Hampton out of the backfield has the first down at the 35, 36-yard line. A gain of 14 and only the 11th catch of the season for Rodney Hampton.
Well, like we said, Mike, I mean, both these coaches have decided they're going to have to do something different. Now, Hampton comes out of the backfield. Johnson does a nice job of just setting and firing, and Hampton, when he gets his hands on the football, really knows which direction to head in.
Johnson, as a quarterback, doesn't make mistakes. He has thrown 96 passes without an interception. And that was Percy Snow missing the tackle on that. Back to live action, and Hampton on the ground across the 40 to the 44-yard line. Travis Davis made the tackle. Hampton, splitting time with Worley, was the 5th leading rusher in the SEC.
You know, what's really scary is when you look at Georgia's running backs. Worley averages 5.8 a carry, Hampton 5.6, Ellis 5.6, and Keith Henderson 5.7. No matter who goes in, they average over 5 yards a carry, 5.5 a carry.
2nd and 2, Georgia in the eye. Hampton is the deep man. Play action. Johnson with time, rifles it in too high for Henderson coming out of the backfield. Speaking of Vince Dooley, not having 2 coaches turn down the position or not take it, this creates a problem with recruiting and the distractions for the players that are here and players that might come.
Well, when you talk to Coach, and I did talk to him about that, Mike, he said that he feels like a successor will be named by Wednesday or Thursday of next week. They realize that the importance is the Georgia program, and what they want to do is they want to have that set because a very important month in recruiting is the month of January.
Alfonso Ellis in at fullback on 3rd and 2. Hampton, Georgia's bread and butter play, and it won't work. Miller came up from the safety spot, and Kurt Larson, #3, the outside linebacker, they double-teamed him and brought him down.
Well, they've got John Miller, number 44, back at his natural position, and that's strong safety. And this is the job of a strong safety. Get up, force the running back inside, and then make the play if you can. Miller does both of them. When you talk to Coach Perlis, he said probably one of the big mistakes he made early in the year was having John Miller play free safety and not strong safety.
Hester to punt. Miller signals a fair catch, makes it at the 14-yard line. So once again, Michigan State pinned deep in its own territory after a 44-yard Joey Hester punt. First quarter, still no score.
All right. Terry Munson here, touring one of Homeland Community's new developments, the all-pro team in home construction with exciting new energy-saving homes. Homeland Communities in the Cobb, DeKalb, Lithonia, and Morrow areas feature 5% down, price from $44,000 for the garden and townhomes to the low 60s for the ranch and split-foyer homes. Monthly payments lower than rent on most homes. Optional features let you customize your home. Add 5% down payments, the best financing. Then call the home folks at 252-9797.
Your Atlanta Chrysler Plymouth team blasts off with Plymouth Voyager for $1989 at Get a Great Deal Savings. Get a great deal on the real people pleaser, Voyager, the American minivan leader. Get a great deal more. Voyager's priced from $11,802. Find more than a great Voyager deal. Get 770 Chrysler protection. Get the Atlanta winner, the 1989 Voyager at Blast-Off Savings at your 7 Atlanta Chrysler Plymouth Super Team dealers.
ESPN opens the door on NCAA basketball. Slam jammed with color and excitement. See a parade of America's outstanding players in sparkling displays nearly every night. Kick off the week with a Big Monday doubleheader featuring Big East and Big Ten excitement. January 9th, top-ranked Syracuse battles Villanova. Then volley nights, Indiana Hoosiers take on Purdue. The color and excitement of Big Monday premieres January 9th, live on ESPN.
We're at the Mazda Gator Bowl. And it's 0-0. First quarter of play. Hope you'll join us tomorrow for New Year's game day, hosted live from the Fiesta Bowl by Tim Brando, and pit coach Mike Gottfried will be our special guest. We'll also have commentary from Bino Cook, reports from Kerry Ross at the Sugar Bowl, Stan White at the Orange, previews of the Cotton and Rose. Big day in college football and a big night right here. This statistic probably won't last long, but right now both teams have more passing yards than rushing yards. Ezor to the short side, and Ezor cut down at the 16-yard line. Let's go back to the sideline and Chris Fowler. Chris?
Okay, Mike, joining me now is Barbara Dooley, Vince's wife. Vince claims this is not an emotional night for him, no more than any game during the regular season. How about you? How's your emotional state?
Well, it is for me. It's very emotional. It's kind of like watching your life flash in front of you.
Are you going to be able to handle life without football?
I don't know. It's going to be real interesting. I didn't sleep a wink last night, and I've cried most of the day.
Okay, Barbara, hang on. Let's go back to Mike, and we'll come back down here in a second.
Thanks, Chris. Very nice lady. McAllister in trouble. Line of scrimmage and no more. Let's go back to Chris and Barbara Dooley.
Okay, Barbara. Now, Vince has been pretty cagey as far as announcing whether or not he's going to run for office. What is your advice about governor of Georgia in 1990?
Well, I think right now it's a little premature. We've got to win this football game tonight.
What would your advice be? What would you expect, though, if you were a betting woman?
Well, if I were a betting woman, I'd have to say maybe.
Was there anything special he told you before tonight's game?
No, when he got ready to leave, though, that I knew that he was thinking, this is different. I saw it on his face, and it was really sad. I kissed him goodbye, and I really have stayed pretty choked up.
Okay, thanks very much, Barbara. Mike?
Ezor on a draw on 3rd and 9. He'll be stopped short of the first down. Terry Webster, number 60, always around the ball, as is Guthrie, number 54, on the tackle. And you can tell how much emotion is involved in this one.
You aren't kidding, Mike. And I'll also tell you, Barbara Dooley, if Vince doesn't run for governor, she hit the middle of the road. She ought to think about it.
That's right.
Well, maybe. Okay, all right. We got that.
Butland, who has kicked well so far, is on to kick to Carswell. Down to 2 minutes and 55 seconds and counting in the first quarter. Low line drive kick this time. Carswell on the run into Michigan State territory. Dives to the 45-yard line. 35-yard punt and low and a 12-yard return. Overhead, we have the Goodyear Blimp Enterprise based out of Pompano Beach, Florida. The captain tonight, Richard Daniels from Burbank, California.
It was my chauffeur when I
was it?
Yeah, my chauffeur when I flew around there. Did a nice job of driving. Didn't hit a bump.
He did or he did?
Well, both of them, but he didn't hit a bump. Neither did I, come to think.
Ellis and Worley back in at running back for Georgia in Michigan State territory. Play action by Johnson. He'll keep it. Now he throws. And threw in between two potential receivers. There is a flag down on the play.
Receiver down Fowler on the forward pass on the offense.
Well, what happens, Wayne Johnson makes an excellent fake. You know, with Georgia being a tailback-oriented offense, whether they hand it to the tailback or pitch it to him, what he does is when he flips that ball out, he pauses a second, and that freezes the linebackers, and he has enough quicks to get outside the defense, and they try and bring somebody across. That time, Michigan State defense did well. They got pressure on him up front and gave him no place to throw the football. Of course, his linemen are thinking, what the heck, he's out there far enough, maybe he's going to run.
Penalty was an ineligible receiver downfield, so it's 1st and 15 back at midfield. Johnson, a senior out of Columbus, Georgia. Johnson guns this one down to the 29-yard line, and it's Sean Hummings, a gain of 21. And Georgia fans are seeing a whole new offense here.
Well, we talked about it. It's not like we didn't tell people it was going to happen,
right,
Mike, because they're really changing things up. The thing that Wayne Johnson does so well, and he admitted it, he says, I love to throw out of the pocket. And there he just sets that back foot, and he's got a heck of a gun. Now, he's only been in that position for a year, and the coaches wish they had him for one more. But there's been a tremendous maturity process.
He's hit 3 out of 6 for 38 yards. Worley on the option. This guy is a load inside the 25-yard line. Worley can fly. He's 216 pounds. And look at Miller. Miller says, yeah, come and get me again. I'll be right here.
Yeah, he says, you think you hurt me? Come on again. Worley says, okay, I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Now watch this. This is just power on. Put it down low and just slam it in. Talked to George Perlis on the field, Mike, before the game, and he says, as all the frenzy started and the teams came out, he says, this is not a place for a weak heart team.
Worley made 3 All-American teams this year. Up the middle this time. Dragging people with him. Travis Davis, 75, was the first man to get to him. He's probably their best down lineman and their biggest at 270. But Vanderbeek, 66, has played exceptionally well this year. Probably one of the guys who's an overachiever, playing with a broken hand.
Yeah, you know.
Funny when he asked the coaches, is he going to play? He says, yeah, he's got a broken hand, no problem.
Yeah, he's not hurt. He just had a broken hand. Coach's mentality. You know, unless you're lying there in a hospital, you're not hurt.
3rd and 4. Johnson with time, guns it. Caught inbound, yes. The official looked like he was going to rule it out of bounds, changed his mind, and Henderson with a great grab.
What a catch. Johnson again sets in that pocket and just cuts this thing loose. Now look at this reception. Henderson is going the other way and turns around to make the grab. You think Coach Dooley's into this one? Oops.
He's saying, hey, this passing stuff isn't too bad.
Yeah, he says, you know, I should have started this about 20 years ago.
What a catch by Keith Henderson. Of course, he's this club's 2nd leading receiver. Movement. Quarterback keeper. A flag goes down. Johnson got into the end zone, but it's got to be motion.
Got to be. You can't have 2 people moving at once. We saw the fullback move. What should have happened is the man in motion also should have come to a stop. By him continuing to move, you get the illegal motion.
A illegal shift on the offense. 2-man running motion. 5-yard penalty. First down.
I like that illegal shift. That looks like some of a Jane Fonda exercise video. You know what I'm saying?
Vince does not like mistakes.
He needs more dirt. You know, he needs to be standing in dirt because he can't grab the grass. He just needs more dirt.
So instead of 1st and goal from the 1, it's 1st and goal from the 6-yard line. Worley is in there, Henderson and Ellis. Full house backfield. Worley the deep man. Fake to Worley. Johnson throws. Incomplete. Henderson had a shot at it, couldn't hold it.
Well, how often do you see that? Here's a guy who just a few plays before makes an unbelievable reception. Now he's got himself a chance for 6, and he lets it get through his hands. Johnson, again, very impressive throwing the football. And he's putting it right where it has to be. There it is, right on Henderson's fingertips. He got the right mid on it, but couldn't get it. Little body English, maybe. Ooh, ooh.
Second and goal from the 6. Johnson's been very impressive. Worley on the toss. Great play by Travis Davis. Got over there in a hurry, then got some help from Percy Snow.
Well, also, you know, Mike, that's the short side of the field. And the biggest difference, and for me, having not seen college football in a while, is the hash mark. When you've just got a few yards to head to the other side, that penetration by the defense just didn't give you any room to run outside anybody.
Now it's 3rd and goal outside the 6. So on this possession, after 1st and goal, Georgia's lost 6 yards. Comes the blitz. Johnson unloads. Touchdown, Hampton. There is a flag down on the play. They had Hampton by the face mask. And they still couldn't keep him out.
On the defense. The touchdown.
Georgia on the board with 1 second to go in the quarter.
Yeah, and who'd have believed Georgia would get on it throwing the football as much as they have. But it's like they've had 2 mysteries here. I mean, they've got backs that can really catch. Henderson and Hampton showing they know what to do when they get their hands on the ball, catching it, and Wayne Johnson putting it exactly where it belongs.
John Casey on for the conversion. He's 39 of 40 this year. Boy, Johnson's really been on the money.
He certainly has. Now here, it's just a simple sprint out again. And for a quarterback to sprint left, stop, you get somebody coming at your feet. Again, a little bit behind. And there you see the face mask. But Hampton freezes and just gets the ball and has that leg power. Without a head, he tries to get into the end zone.
Vince would like to go out a winner, too.
He wants this one. Coach Dooley, when you look at his face and when you talk to him, I walked up to him before the game just to wish him luck on the field. I guarantee you, he didn't even know I was there. That man was in another world. And he is just, there's got to be so many different kinds of emotions going on inside his head. I know somebody else who won't sleep tonight. Now, Barber didn't sleep last night. Barber did. I'll guarantee you, this man won't sleep tonight.
And he probably wishes this would go about 6 quarters tonight. George Perlis on the sideline. What a job he's done at Michigan State, turning the program around. Casey will kick off. Hawkins and Haller are deep. Another blast. This one out of the end zone. He's their extra point man, their kickoff man, and their long field goal kicker. And you can see why he just crushed that.
They needed one from a mile.
Yeah.
If they need a 60-yarder, they can just, plug in the 60-yard foot. He's he's not a big fella. He's one of those little strappy guys that's all leg. 5'10", 165 pounds, and 155 of it is in his leg.
Yeah, that's it, too.
Get that weighted club, Boom, get that weight going, wham, it's gone.
62% of Casey's kickoffs this year have been touchbacks. Last play of the first period. Ezor has not found any running room tonight. Got maybe a half a yard on that one. So we've reached the end of the first quarter here in Jacksonville, Florida, the Mazda Gator Bowl. And it's the Bulldogs of Georgia 7, the Michigan State Spartans nothing.
Mazda's got a brand new vehicle that's as unique and special and friendly as the family dog. It's the all-new Mazda MPV. It carries 7 like a wagon, it's versatile like a van, and with its responsive V6, it performs like a Mazda. If Mazda's MPV sounds like something that's never been before, you're right. About the only thing it won't do is get your paper in the morning. The all-new Mazda MPV, family transportation. the Mazda way.
Just when you thought you knew which battery was best for your car, along comes this dynamo, the Megatron 34 from Interstate, the runaway leader in every performance test by America's leading consumer products rating service, with cranking power that ran circles around better-known brands and reserve energy that left others stranded. Megatron 34 from Interstate. A bit of a show-off, perhaps. But then, it did test best. Ask for it.
And now, on with the opera.
From the people who brought you big screen television comes the sound to go with it.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a...
Introducing Mitsubishi Home Theater Systems, now playing at a dealer near you.
You're looking sharp, you're looking good, you've come so far, and we know how to make the most of who you are. Father to son, it's what we've always done. Gillette.
The Gillette Atra Plus system with the Lubra Smooth Strip for the best a man can get.
American ingenuity is finding a simple way to do a job well. At Tempstar, we applied our ingenuity to home heating. We invented a furnace that's 95.8% efficient. The ingenious part is that the technology is simple, proven reliable. 2 heat exchangers instead of 1, backed by a limited lifetime warranty. The Tempstar gas furnace, brought to you by your Tempstar dealer.
Ready to start the second quarter in Jacksonville, Florida. The Mazda Gator Bowl. Georgia on top 7-0. Michigan State ball, 2nd and 8. The Spartans at their own 22. McAllister fakes the draw. Pressured. Throws late down the middle. Carswell had a chance to intercept it, couldn't get it. Andre Rison was the intended target.
Well, as we mentioned, you know, McAllister is going to try and find Rison. He comes across the field. And McAllister, obviously, you know, Michigan State's doing something it doesn't do naturally. That's throw the football. Although they practice it a lot, when you get in a game, it's a whole different story. Now, he may be fast, but he's not tall. And although he started on the Michigan State basketball team, I don't think he can jump that high.
Michigan State has already thrown the ball 7 times. Both teams throwing far more than normal. McAllister with a short drop goes out to Rison, trying to make it one-on-one, and can't do it. Stops shy of the first down. Good job by Ben Smith, number 26. Wouldn't let him get away, and Demetrius Douglas came over and helped out.
That time, I think he made a little bit of an error in judgment. He was a yard away, and instead of just trying to dive for the 30 and being aware of where the first down was, he tried to juke a little bit and make a bigger play than he really had to.
Here comes Butland, and Carswell will go deep, standing at his own 30. Carswell, a defensive back, but was a highly touted running back when he was recruited to Georgia. He loves to run on the ball.
Just a redshirt freshman, too.
Another low driving kick taken by one of the up men. And it's a fair catch after a 33-yard punt. And that was Brian Cleveland, one of the backup fullbacks. Coming up January 15th, college all-star game from Japan, the 1989 Ricoh Japan Bowl. Troy Aikman, Tony Mandarich, who's in this game. Derek Thomas, Broderick Thomas, all scheduled to appear 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Georgia starts from its own 39. Hampton in at tailback. This is the fullback, Keith Henderson.
Now, here's a statistic, Mike, that I'm sure will shock a lot of Georgia fans. The first quarter, they ran the ball 8 times, and they passed the ball 9 times. Now, that in itself should belong in a little category under Vince Dooley records as far as bowl game appearances, whatever. Threw the ball more in the first quarter.
Ball spotted at the 41, 2nd and 8, and Johnson has had an excellent first half. Had 2 of those drops, by the way. Sadowski goes to the far side. Johnson to throw again. This one way too high for the intended receiver, Sean Humming.
That's a high, hard one.
Little riser.
Yeah, it was. That one, it's a good thing. It's a good thing there's a stadium on the outside. That one might have broke the car window.
Johnson says he has a lot of confidence in his own arm. He likes to sit back in the pocket.
Very unusual because he has that gifted ability to move, but he does have the preference. His favorite pattern is called an X-ray. It's not invisible. You know, it's not real, but it's about a 15-yard in. He calls it the X-ray.
Look at the yardage. Georgia passing for 66. They want to screen this time. Henderson cuts it back. 40. Young man with a lot of speed down to the 27-yard line of Michigan State. Benson Donaldson made the tackle. Todd Wheeler, the All-SEC center, threw him a great block.
Well, Johnson manages to bring all the defense inside to him. They get it outside to Henderson, and then you see why he's so versatile. He even hurdles his own man and turns on the speed. Now, what you want to do when you get great backs is just get them the football where they can use their running ability. Now, watch Wheeler, that's the center, number 63, get the big block to spring him up the field.
Worley gets the toss. Pushes his way inside the 25 to about the 24. What made that play work, to me, is the fact that Georgia has thrown the ball so much tonight. Normally, a running team can't get away with screen passes. They're not set up.
You're absolutely right. I mean, if you were to tell people that both these teams run the football for a living, they wouldn't believe it. And it's interesting watching, and they really are mirror images of one another. Both teams practice the pass a lot, but when they get into games, they never did it. And in this kind of a game, they've taken everything out of the closet.
2nd and 7. Mark it just outside the 21-yard line. Miller was there along with Percy Snow. Snow with 150 tackles coming into this ball game. Grew up in Canton, Ohio, and told us he used to go to the Football Hall of Fame 4 or 5 times a week when he was a kid, and one of the 5 Butkus Award candidates as a junior. 3rd and 5. Johnson straight back. Blitz coming. Gets it out to work. Great tackle by Kurt Larson, the outside linebacker.
There's a guy that has 8 interceptions, and you talk to the coaches, and they say he's just a good athlete. You know, great college ball player. Gets outside, good size, 6'4", 240. You know he's got good hands because he doesn't wear a lot of tape on him. That's an indication in itself.
Had a torn Achilles in the spring. That's a great comeback for him just to be able to play, let alone play at this level. 4th and 6, and Steve Crumley will come on. Hester to hold. Crumley extremely accurate. And puts it through. So on offense, it has been all Georgia here in the first half of the Mazda Gator Bowl. And the Bulldogs, in Vince Dooley's swan song, have taken a 10-0 lead on a 39-yard field goal by Steve Crumley. We'll be back with more in a moment.
Mazda's got a brand new vehicle that's as unique and special and friendly as the family dog. It's the all-new Mazda MPV. It carries 7 like a wagon, it's versatile like a van, and with its responsive V6, it performs like a Mazda. If Mazda's MPV sounds like something that's never been before, you're right. About the only thing it won't do is get your paper in the morning. The all-new Mazda MPV. Family transportation, the Mazda way.
This is a change. This is new. Howard Johnson, can this be you? This is Howard Johnson today. This is Howard Johnson today. This is Howard Johnson today. Changing in so many colorful, comfortable, welcoming ways. This is Howard Johnson today. This is Howard Johnson today.
Okay, I'll be right down.
just 1 calorie, everyone's turning on to Diet Coke.
ESPN's presentation of the 1989 Mazda Gator Bowl, Michigan State versus Georgia, is being brought to you by Mazda Cars and Trucks, including the all-new Mazda MPV. And by today's Howard Johnson, we're changing a lot of minds. Georgia with the lead, 10-0 with 11 minutes to go in the first half, Joe.
And a very important offensive series for Michigan State. They've got to do whatever they have to, whether it's throw, run, whatever they have to. They've got to put a drive together and try and get some points on the board because they can't let Georgia get too far ahead because then they'll start pouring those big backs down their throats.
I'm just wondering if they'll go back to what brought them. Low line drive kick. Picked up by Hawkins. Broke a couple of tackles, stays in bounds, out across the 30. He'll mark him out of bounds at the 31-yard line, but for Michigan State tonight, that is excellent field position. There's the drive, 39 yards, a little over 3 minutes, and Crumley capped it with a 39-yard field goal.
Crumley, one of those straight-on kickers. He'd be in trouble if they ever outlawed shoelaces because he's got his toe tied up, almost touching his knee, but he gets it up quick and split the uprights.
Michigan State at its own 30-yard line. Here's a team that's averaging nearly 250 yards a game on the ground. And they go to Ezor. Ezor cut down by Robert Bell, number 79, 260-pound sophomore. And Georgia very thin on the defensive line, but they have played very, very well so far tonight. That's 8 carries, only 26 yards for Ezor, who gained 1,350 yards this year, the 4th best ever for a Michigan State back.
You know, the thing that Georgia's doing on defense, Mike, is they're not allowing Michigan State's size at offensive line to move them off the ball and give Ezor a place to run.
McAllister on the roll with time. Complete. Rising into Georgia territory at the 48-yard line. 21-yard gain. Carswell made the tackle. There is a penalty marker back near the line of scrimmage.
Everyone else receiver downfield on the offense.
And if you can read lips, you see George Perlis saying, which one?
I'd find that hard that ball was out in a hurry.
Sure was.
I don't know who could be downfield unless it's a lineman. I guess Coach Perlis agrees, but the ball goes out in such a hurry. I don't know who could be downfield. But the official saw somebody, obviously.
So McAllister looks to the sideline to get the play. This, by the way, is an Atlantic Coast Conference officiating crew working our Mazda Gator Bowl game tonight for us in Jacksonville. 2nd and 14 after the penalty. Fake to Ezor. McAllister wants to throw again. Same play. Throws short. Almost intercepted. Lewis had his hands on it. Couldn't hold it.
And Morris Lewis just absolutely baited Bobby McAllister on that one. He stayed right in Steve Montgomery's hip pocket. You'll see it on the lower left part of your screen, number 57. You see how he just hangs back like he's in a zone, and he sees McAllister start to let that thing go, and then he breaks on the ball. This is one, if you're a quarterback, all you do, you pray for 2 things. Number 1, what happened, he dropped it, or number 2, you can outrun him. I could never do the second, so I'd always hope the guys could drop it.
You hope for number 1 a lot more, don't you?
You aren't kidding.
Lewis already has 3 interceptions this year as an outside linebacker. 3rd and 14. Drops it short, tipped, almost intercepted again. This time Demetrius Douglas nearly got to it. The intended receiver was Ezor. It wouldn't have been anywhere near first down territory even if it was complete.
Well, there you go again. I mean, the ball is just up in the air. That's all there is to it. Ezor tries to get up for it. He wouldn't have had anywhere near the first down. And that's the one thing I believe that college coaches are afraid of with the passing game when you don't do it a lot. It's those penalties that set you back. That's why you go to a run game, because you don't necessarily get the big penalties to set you back.
Especially with Michigan State's offensive line. They've been so dominant in the last half of the year. Butland killed this one. Carswell all the way back to the 20. Initially, if he could have reached the sideline, he had the picket fence set up. 52-yard kick and an 11-yard return. They will rule that he is down at the 26-yard line. The knee touched. 9 minutes, 24 seconds to go first half. Georgia's offense and defense leads by 10.
You know, if I've discovered one thing from driving this new Mazda 929, it's this. Not only does it measure up to the great cars of the world with its luxury and quiet, it more than measures up when you introduce it to your favorite piece of road. The new Mazda 929, a high-performance luxury sedan, the Mazda way.
If you want to land a good job, you have to know what most employers want. Like how to motivate yourself, how to lead others, how to perform under pressure. You can learn all these things in the Army. So no matter what career you choose, you'll really be ready to take off.
Football fans, get ready for the battle of the century as unbeaten Budweiser takes on undefeated Bud Light. It's Bud versus Bud Light in Bud Bowl 1.
Pick up your official scorecard wherever you see this display.
Oh, Bud, super idea. You see the neck on that guy?
Use it to follow the action and you could win. So get ready, get set. On January 22nd, Bud Bowl 1. This time, it's for real.
That's the story from the Mazda Gator Bowl. Here's the last punt return, and watch Carswell's knee. Does it hit or not?
It's his left knee we're going to be watching now. There's his hand on the ground, and there's his knee. Now, you know, when the dirt comes to you, it's a little bit different than you going to the dirt. But again, we have the advantage of the super slow-mo, which is wonderful for technology. It's not very helpful to the referees.
And, of course, no instant replay.
Thanks, Kevin.
Hampton gets in the tailback. There's a flag down on the play. Johnson with that rifle completes it out to the 40-yard line. This time he hit Arthur Marshall. Now we'll check the penalty. It went down immediately.
Have offside on the defense. We'll decline it. We have first down.
The only thing that could have happened is the fact that they lined up offside. You see the offensive lineman get his hands out front. He gets that arm out front. That's Russell DeFord on Travis Davis. Just gets his arms out and acts like a little spring, a little cushion. Stops him from rushing.
Johnson, 8 out of 13, 112 yards passing in the first half. Now he's on the option. He'll keep it, cuts it back. Great balance across midfield to the 48-yard line. Took a shot from Harlan Barnett, number 36. On offense, it has been the Wayne Johnson show.
Well, really, and you know, I wouldn't doubt that this is not a featured part of his game. And you see he's got the ball up, he's reading the defensive end. He sees the defense stretch out. They do a good job. Larson's out there waiting for him. He just cuts up in a hole and runs into a tree.
It's another first down for Georgia back in Michigan State territory with 6:38 to go in the first half. And the whistle will stop play. Excuse me, it's 8:38 left first half, indicating this one will go against Georgia.
The dead ball. False start on the offense. The first and 15.
And that will push Georgia back to its own 47-yard line. And there you see Vince Dooley signaling in from the sideline.
Neoma Woods, attention. Neoma Woods. Call your sister, Francis. 669.
Georgia has crossed midfield the last 3 times they had the football.
669.
Michigan State has been in Georgia territory just once. That was to the 46-yard line. Fake to Hampton. Here comes the blitz. Hampton back the other side on the screen. Great reversal. Couple of nice blocks, first down and more. This kid is a heck of a runner to the 32-yard line. Wheeler was out in front again.
Just amazing. And the thing that sets it up is Wayne Johnson draws the defense again to him, just as he did on the other screen that he threw to Henderson. This is, I mean, he can just flat dance. Look at that. They can't even grab his towel. He's making he's missing their legs, the towel, and everything.
Vince is almost as nifty.
They're going to set that to music someday. That's fabulous.
Worley back in at tailback. Get about a yard, maybe two. Travis Davis was over there to knock him down. Let's get Vince a hat and let him go out there. It's his last chance.
It's just, he got the crossover steps. He's got the slide. He's got the little drop bump. I mean, he's got them all. You know, it seems Michigan State has done a good job defensing Tim Worley. It's Rodney Hampton and Keith Henderson that have been raising havoc for him.
And Michigan State wants to take a timeout and talk it over with 7:16 to go in the half. Georgia already up 10-0 and driving for more against the Michigan State defense. Back in a moment.
Our customer has a good idea. Offer full-service banking at every branch. But how can he do it without adding personnel?
With our central office-based services. But that's only one side of the story. It takes more than technology alone. When it's my customer, I try to help him make his operations more productive overall. And with Southern Bell's people and our depth of resources, I can do that.
Southern Bell's the one to turn to.
Larry Munson here, touring one of Homeland Community's new developments, the all-pro team in home construction with exciting new energy-saving homes. Homeland Communities in the Cobb, DeKalb, Lithonia, and Morrow areas feature 5% down, price from $44,000 for the garden and townhomes to the low 60s for the ranch and split-foyer homes. Monthly payments lower than rent on most homes. Optional features let you customize your home. Add 5% down payments, the best financing. Then call the home folks at 252-9797.
ESPN opens the door on NCAA basketball. Slam jammed with color and excitement. See a parade of America's outstanding players in sparkling displays nearly every night. Tip off the week with a Big Monday doubleheader featuring Big East and Big Ten excitement. January 9th, top-ranked Syracuse battles Villanova. Then Bobby Knight's Indiana Hoosiers take on Purdue. The color and excitement of Big Monday premieres January 9th, live on ESPN.
The 1954 Gator Bowl game matched Texas Tech from the Southwest Conference and Auburn from the SEC. Auburn was coming off its first winning season in 17 years. Their leader, a senior quarterback who ran the ball a lot better than he threw it. And even though Texas Tech would go on to defeat the Auburn Tigers, the MVP was their quarterback. And guess who that quarterback was?
Oh, I
One
don't know.
Vince Dooley.
Tell me. How about that? You know, I'm convinced now, after watching him throw, that he went out and tried to recruit guys who couldn't really throw better than he could. Unfortunately, I think Wayne Johnson has broken that mold.
Wayne Johnson has shown a rifle tonight. 2nd and 8, Georgia. From the Michigan State circuit. Pressure. Johnson neatly sidesteps, complete to Hampton. 5. Touchdown. Casey comes on for the point after. He's through again. Wayne Johnson has already thrown for 164 yards. His season high is 176.
Well, you know, the thing is he's doing everything that he has to. Here he gets pressure from the left side by Davis. He just sidesteps him, has presence of mind to gather himself, and just gun that thing up the field. He just gives the old once over and just fires it up the field to Hampton, who we've seen hurdle his own people, Michigan State people. Now there he goes again. Tremendous balance.
Hampton has already caught 4 balls, 71 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and Vince is at it again.
I got to tell you, that's just a treat. That man's movements are special.
He'll need a day off more than the players.
Oh, his leg got to be killing him.
Hampton, 2 touchdown receptions tonight. Coming into this game all year, he had caught 1 for a touchdown, only 86 yards on the season. So Georgia, they told us they were going to throw the football. They thought Michigan State's defense was too tough against the run, and boom, they've done it, and they've done it very well.
I've had a lot of respect for those guys up front, and they've thrown to their backs, interestingly enough.
Hawkins, 2 yards deep. He wants this one. Got it back to the 20-yard line and no more. A return of 22 yards for the freshman Courtney Hawkins from Flint, Michigan. And if you're going to dance around like that, you get hurt sometimes.
Well, you know, it's our first injury of the game, and I'm, you know, he's little bruised, little cut. I just wonder which play he got it on. Which dance.
Well, you get players coming by, you reach out and smack him in the helmet with that open hand.
Look at the training crew. Not a big one. I don't doubt if they'll take him out. I don't think they'll take him in for x-rays anymore.
Under 7 minutes to go the first half. Let's see what the Spartans do with the ball. Easel on the toss behind Montgomery. Nowhere to go. Smith came up from the corner, dragged him down, gained maybe a yard. Let's go to the sideline and Chris Fowler. Chris?
Okay, Mike, I'm standing by with the Spartans' #1 fan, Governor Jim Blanchard of Michigan. The Spartans have been a come-from-behind team all year, Governor. Are you still optimistic?
Oh, yes. We have to get back in the game right now. We need a psychological lift right now, and we're all disappointed, but this is a team that's come from behind many, many times. I just wish it were going better, and I'm sure all the Spartan fans do.
Any suggestions? Open up the offense, maybe?
No, I think we just need to stick to basics, and we're a bigger, stronger team. And we're going to have to wear Georgia down to be able to run and score. And we'll have to get lucky. We'll have to get lucky, too. I think Georgia had some lucky breaks, and it hurt us psychologically. We have to psychologically get back in the game, and then we'll make a good contest of it, and we can win.
There's been so much talk about Vince Dooley as governor after he leaves. What kind of a governor do you think he'd be?
Well, he's quite a good football coach. I can tell you that. It's hard to say. I think he'll probably be very, very formidable in Georgia. He's very popular. The politicians don't always, or coaches don't always win. Bud Wilkinson ran in Oklahoma, was very popular. It didn't work out, so Vince will have to be careful. But right now, he looks like he's got the Midas touch, so I don't know that I can give him any advice.
Okay, thanks, Governor Mike.
Thank you, Chris. 3rd and 7, McAllister to throw. Tarditz is after him. Horizon, and Rison makes the catch at the Georgia 36. Rusty Beasley forced him out of bounds, but a good job by both McAllister and Rison for a gain of 41.
Well, when Bobby McAllister gets in trouble, he'll go looking for Rison's. And this guy here, he's down the field. He sees his quarterback in trouble, and then he comes back to the ball. Now, we saw Johnson avoid a rush. There's Tardis trying to get a hold of McAllister. You know, he shows his athletic ability and just fires this thing with a little quick run down the field. And you'll notice how Rison's comes back for the ball.
McAllister averaged 12 passes a game this year. He has already thrown 12 in this one. Seltzer is in at tailback. And he'll get the carry. Seltzer stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Big hit by Webster and Ben Smith. And I'm a little bit surprised, Joe, with that Michigan State offensive line so much bigger than Georgia's defensive line. They can't seem to move them out of there.
Well, what they're doing, Mike, is Georgia is making the tailbacks, who are 7 yards plus deep, run a little bit east and west, sideline to sideline. If they could hit a crease, they could hurt Georgia. But as long as Georgia can make the Michigan State backs flow sideline to sideline, they've got more team speed.
2nd and 8. McAllister directs traffic. Now he wants to run. Gets out of bounds. At the 29-yard line. Guthrie was over there to make sure he didn't get any further. McAllister will flush himself out of the pocket.
You know, I got to believe with 4:36 to go in the half that Michigan State is in a 2-down area. It's 3rd down and 3. If they don't make it on this one, I think George Perlis and the state team have got to go for it on 4th down no matter what, because they need to go in with the lift. As the governor mentioned, they need something positive to have, something emotional. They've had the big play. Now they have to capitalize on it.
3rd and 3. McAllister, naked reverse. Got a block from Rison and got to the 23-yard line. That'll be a 1st down. Well, that time they used the threat of their tailback offense to set up that bootleg.
Well, we've really seen the two quarterbacks take a role in this game, very unusual. Off of the pass, there's a play action. He puts the ball up. There's no way that he is going to throw that football. Rison's out there blocking, and he's got the ball up. But it's good to make the defense think. You just bring it up for a second, and they go, oh, he's going to throw, and goes out of bounds, gets the 1st down.
4:31 to go, first half, 17-0 Georgia. Michigan State driving. Ezor back in there. There's the seam. And Ezor to the 10-yard line. Exactly what you talked about.
See, that's the difference. What you do is Ezor's a downhill runner. That's the reason why they set their tailback so deep. Now watch Mandridge. He's number 79. He comes out, and all Ezor does is follow him. Now he blocks Guthrie. That's a mismatch. I mean, you know, of course, Mandridge against anybody's a mismatch, but
that's right.
You know, Guthrie's only 215 against 315. Well, I guess you'd call it that. He's only giving away 100 pounds. I'm surprised he was still standing.
First and 10 at the 10. Ezor, same kind of play down to the 6. Beasley was there, along with Guthrie.
One thing George Perlis wanted to find out was how Georgia was going to play. Not Rison, not McAllister, not Ezor, but what were they going to do with Mandridge? How were they going to handle a defense over that big tackle? And now it looks like Michigan State is getting that confidence to run behind him.
2nd down, call it 6.
There you see how Michigan State has done on goal to go. First 5 games when they were 0-4-1, just 1 field goal and 1 TD.
To the 4. Ball popped out, but after the play. Webster was down there along with Mo Lewis.
Again, I got to believe that you're looking at, you know, you're obviously looking at 4-down territory. I don't believe Coach Perlis could go for 3.
Be a tough decision to make down 17-0.
He really would. I'm sure he's wishing they score so he doesn't have to make it. But again, you know, 17-3, you've moved the ball with your newfound wide open offense. You can move it down the field.
A couple of newfound wide open offenses. 10th play of the drive coming up. McAllister wants Rison, throws in or out. Touchdown.
Got to remember, in college football, it's only 1 foot, not 2.
The official right on top of the play did not make the signal. The other official who was deep in the end zone did.
This one's coming at you. McAllister sprints out to his left. Ezor, Montgomery leading him. He just fires this thing in an area where Rison's come back. There it is. Oh, yeah. He got both feet in.
Easily.
Got plenty of feet. That's good in any league.
Langloh is on for the point after. He's perfect this year in 26 tries. Make it 27 in a row for sophomore John Langloh. Rison, touchdown pass number 6.
Well, you know what's impressed me about him is he is always coming back to the ball. Watching him in practice, and even had a sore left ankle, which I asked him about. He said it's fine, but he's always coming back at the ball. That is such a tremendous help to a quarterback because the defensive guy never has a chance to cut in front and pick it off.
All right, let's go to the sideline before the kickoff. We've got more from Chris Fowler.
Okay, Mike, injury report on Coach Dooley. He sustained a cut to his left hand when it slammed up against a helmet, maybe in the middle of one of his wild gestures. Got a towel pressed on it. The bleeding does not appear to be too serious, but we'll keep you posted, guys.
Well, he doesn't have to worry about next week or even next year, so that injury will heal quite nicely. Michigan State on that last drive got 80 yards. The entire rest of the game, they've had 83. The big play was that scramble by McAllister. Well,
actually, the big plays in this game has been the scrambles by both quarterbacks, Johnson and McAllister, finding receivers. I mean, it's been a great football game. I'm glad we're the only people on New Year's Day. This is great.
This is fun.
I wouldn't want to go anyplace else anyway. There's the injury. That must be bleeding pretty good. Now, he's had that on for a while.
Risen second in touchdown receptions, Michigan State to Kirk Gibson.
See Blake Ezor's chin. Looks like he's getting a little repair work on his chin.
Dangerous return men, Worley and Hampton back for the kickoff. Worley across the 20 to the 21. Worley had been averaging 34 yards a return on kickoff. And Michigan State appeared to get pumped up out of that last drive that went 80 yards. Consumed a little over 4 minutes. Ezor, a little mark of combat.
Boy, you know that guy does something. You know, linebacker, running back, whatever. And he's got that sweat, dirt, and blood all over him.
Worley to the short side, forced out of bounds as he crossed the 25-yard line. 2:45 to go first half. Carlos Jenkins, number 51, chased him out of bounds.
Right now, I think Coach Dooley's going to want to go in and not try and do something. Don't want to give the ball back. Michigan State looks like they're starting to get some momentum. Now they'll go back, maybe run the ball down, be satisfied to go in 17-7. Got to be careful. Can't tell your guys to run out of bounds. Helping the other team out by stopping the clock.
Been a very productive first half offensively for the Dogs. Put it up again, not this time. Pressure. And the sack will go to Travis Davis, number 75, his 5th this season.
Again, they used the misdirection to the tailback, and everybody figures, well, let's go chase Worley. But he doesn't fool the Michigan State defense. They get a lot of pressure, and Travis Davis from the backside, you know, he's carrying a proud position. He carries a proud tradition. He plays that off-center nose tackle and wears number 75, just like Mean Joe Green did for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That defense was put in to stop O.J. Simpson.
2 minutes to go first half. Johnson wants a timeout. When we come back, 3rd and 17 for Georgia.
Nobody likes compromises. Everybody wants a car that does everything. The new Mazda 626 handles all those practical things you expect from any family sedan. But it also knows how to handle roads like these. So if there was ever a car that let you have your cake and eat it too, sure hope you're hungry. Mazda 626, a sophisticated family sedan, the Mazda way.
What does the 1 minute rate comparison mean to you as a company? There aren't too many people I know that speak for exactly 60 seconds and hang up. The real question is, how do you compare the volume of calls that I have to make to the locations that I have to make for the amount of time and the time of day? And AT&T, when you consider the volumes, the locations, and the true talking time, AT&T is extremely competitive. I mean, that's why I have clients coming back.
For the pride, for the dream, for the love, for the team, for the sweat and for the drive, for the reason you strive.
For all you do, the clean, crisp taste of Beechwood aged Budweiser.
This Bud's for you.
That shot from the Goodyear Blimp Enterprise, beginning the new year with us after 27 telecasts in 1988 and 1 ride for Joe Theismann.
Mine. Yeah, I loved it. I do. I recommend it to everybody. It's just fun. You know, that timeout was very interesting. You know, there isn't 2-minute warning college football. Of course, for me, you know, having been away from the game for so long, it's a little bit of a new learning process for me. But that timeout really helped Michigan State and hurt Georgia. Because now Georgia's down to 1. Michigan State still has 3 of their own with 2 minutes to go if they can stop it.
And 3rd and 17, deep in your own territory, not exactly what Georgia likes. Johnson on the roll. Got a good block. They force him out of bounds. There is a flag down on the play back where Johnson was trying to turn the corner.
I got to believe, and I'm going to go out on a limb a little bit, when it's back that deep, it's got to be some kind of holding.
I'll go with you.
Because we said it as soon as the ref gave it. I mean,
well, you were on your way there.
Yeah, we're both guys on a limb, huh? Refuse it. They got to refuse it and make them kick it.
Would bring up 4th down.
That's Percy Snow giving the indication. They take it. I got to believe that Coach Perlis is doing this because he has such tremendous confidence in his running game. I mean, the smart thing to do would be to refuse it, to be honest with you.
So the holding on the offense, decline, 4th down.
I'm amazed that the officials still ask the players. Players haven't made a decision in 10 years. They always have to look to the sideline to get the call.
You're absolutely right, but number 75, Adams, has got his arms out front, and you just, you know, you can only have them out front so long. If you hold on, it looks like they'll throw the flag.
Miller waits at his own 35 for the punt of Joey Hester. Big rush. Hester goes down hard. There's a flag down. They let the ball go, but Hester was leveled, and they missed the block. Dixon Edwards, one of the guys in trying to block the kick. Would have been a big, big lift for Michigan State had they blocked it.
I don't agree with that. I really don't.
15 and 1st down. So roughing the kicker on the defense. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
They'd have had excellent field position if they don't go for the block.
They had 1 minute and 50 seconds to go. You got no reason to try and block it. Now, here they get some free runners, but none of the guys, I mean, Hester does an excellent job of getting the ball off real quick. And in professional football, that would be running into the kicker. And it only would have been a 5-yard penalty. But in college ball, which is a great rule to protect the kicker, you get the 15 and the 1st down. Very, very big, poor mental decision by Michigan State.
Michigan State with 3 timeouts left. They may have to start using them now with 1:40 to go if they hope to get the ball back. And Johnson to throw.
All right.
Game is full of surprises. Warner, the tight end, giving ground. Reed was in on the stop, along with the middle linebacker, Percy Snow.
Interesting. Michigan State's not calling a timeout either.
And Georgia's throwing.
Yeah, I mean, you know, what's next?
So much for what we know.
This football must be really changing. I mean, I'd see it a little bit different, unless they believe that, you know, Georgia's going to be able to get on down there.
2nd and 9.
165-yard passing by Georgia. They're going to put some points on the board.
Behind Hampton. Miller was coming up, and probably a good decision by Johnson to throw the ball there. Miller in perfect position to make an interception had the pass been on target. So that stops the clock with 56 seconds to go.
I'm having a heck of a time getting into these coaches' heads. I got to be honest.
Me too.
Some of the things that, you know, going for that when you've got the team backed up to block the kick, it's a heck of a gamble. Now you come out, you don't use a timeout with 1 minute and 30 seconds to go when the other team has 2nd down and 9.
And Georgia throws the ball and does them a favor, stop the clock.
And calls a timeout at the 2-minute mark.
4-man rush. Johnson rifles this one low. Intended it for Arthur Marshall. So the clock stops again. Michigan State still has 3 timeouts left. There's 51 seconds to go.
Now, there's a case, I think, where, you know, Georgia tried to get a little bit greedy. It looked like they were going to settle for it before the latter part of the quarter. They were going to try and run it out. Now, all of a sudden, it's come back and helped them.
Now, do you go after the punter again?
I would hope not.
Miller goes all the way back to his 20. Here they come. This time they missed him, and Hester got a pretty good kick out of this. Miller fair catch at the 28-yard line. 35-yard kick and no return. Coming up at halftime, hope you'll stay with us. We have an excellent interview that Chris Fowler did with Vince Dooley. Tim Brando will have a look at the Fiesta Bowl. All-American Tony Mandarich, you'll love that feature. Everything going on at the Gator Bowl and what has happened in this last week down in Jacksonville, Florida with the Spartans and the Bulldogs.
Oh, everybody at Mazda and associated with the Gator Bowl have been absolutely fantastic. And the people of Jacksonville, they know how to throw a football party, I want to tell you.
Great folks,
This is a big-time football town.
McAllister, draw play, Ezor. The guy has speed out to the 40-yard line. It's a first down, 37 seconds left. They move in to stop the clock. Clock stops so they can move the chains in the final 2 minutes.
Now we get to I'm sort of just, all right.
And now Michigan State will use a timeout.
Gosh, if they hadn't done that,
yeah,
I'd have just thrown it up and said, I don't know anymore.
Time to give up on the analysis.
You got to remember, Coach Perlis, you know, what he does for a living. I mean, he was a defensive coach for a while, too.
And an outstanding defensive coach for the Steelers under Chuck Noll.
He's a, you know, it's very interesting when you talk to the players and the assistant coaches of both Michigan State and Georgia. The way they talk about their head coaches in such a way, these men are people men. You know, they don't coach football players. They don't institute a system. These men are like the intermediaries between fatherhood and the real world. It's the next step up. These guys really, they care about their kids. Of course, George Perlis is great. He had 3 boys. He said, I used to kick them around all the time. He said, now all my boys are gone. Good thing I got 95. I can spread it around. And he's hard on them. He likes them to play hard, and he likes them to work hard.
Well, just to follow up on that, Joe, the saying that he always has, work hard, keep your mouth shut, and good things will happen. That sounds a little tough, but then he brings them down here to the Mazda Gator Bowl and says, hey, you guys got a 2 o'clock curfew, go out and have a good time. Once we get to the end of the week, then we'll concentrate on football and make sure you stay in. And that is the pin that he had made up for every player. That indicates what they did at the start of the season, 0-4-1, and his pride in them that they played it 1 game at a time, that old cliche, but it worked. They won 6 in a row.
We wanted them to remember that that's how they started, and they finished extremely strong.
37 seconds to go in the half. Risen, out of bounds. Would have had it at the Georgia 42-yard line. Guthrie was the closest defender, and Risen doesn't believe it.
Risen doesn't believe it, and can't quite tell there. Well, Montgomery got in the way on that angle. Those big shoulders of the fullback. Let's get it from the back. Remember, he's just got to have 1 foot in. That left foot is down.
Oh, yeah.
There's absolutely no question that foot was in. That's a tough call. That's just a tough call to go against Michigan State. I mean, this young man has got tremendous sideline presence for a wide receiver. And he knows where his toes are. He knows where the sidelines are.
They've thrown the ball 14 times. 8 have been intended for Risen. McAllister in trouble and just threw that one out of bounds. There wasn't a receiver within 30 yards, and a flag is down.
Is any other receiver over there?
No, I don't think so.
Forward pass. On the offense.
Well, you heard the ref ask it. Was there an on receiver there? Nope.
There wasn't anybody with a white or green jersey.
They're going to mark it down at the spot and walk it back a little bit, too. It's 5 yards, a 5-yard penalty from the spot of the infraction. Normally in a situation like this, the coach sends in the one pass pattern that I hated more than any, and that's where you just send the receivers down the field, throw it up for a jump ball, and see who winds up with it.
3rd and 32 with 24 seconds left. Draw play, Easel. Got a lot, but not nearly enough, up to the 35-yard line. He needed to get to the midfield. 14 seconds left, clock running, and now they'll stop it with 13 to bring up a 4th down. And now Georgia might have a chance to rush the punter.
Let me tell you what I'd do. Georgia has, that was their last time out, okay, according to our numbers. That was their last time out. If I was Michigan State, what I think about doing is possibly running the same kind of a draw play, because Georgia doesn't have an opportunity. Now you got to figure Michigan State's going to get up, even though it's 4th down and the clock stops, he's going to get up around the 45, 50-yard line. The most time they're going to have left is possibly one play. Now all of a sudden they're going to get a punt return because of the changeover. And believe me, the one thing that the Michigan State coaches are a little bit concerned about is the ability of Chuck Carswell to return kicks. They said of all the kicking game, his ability to return kicks worried him.
Well, Carswell is back there, and with 13 seconds to go, Butland is on to punt, presumably. Georgia with a 9-man front. Let's see if they come. Not much pressure, and Butland skulls one, but he'll get the roll inside the 20-yard line. Clock running, 3 seconds, and they'll stop it there. A 47-yard kick that probably never got higher than 8 feet off the ground.
He got it away, though, Mike. He wasn't blocking. That's the most important thing. Big play at the end of the half, though. I think was the roughing the kicker call on Michigan State. I think that took a lot of the steam out of the Michigan State machine.
The other big one, I thought, was the pass that was, according to our replay, complete to Risen and ruled out of bounds.
Absolutely.
At the Georgia 42.
No question. A couple of things that have happened to Michigan State have been unfortunate.
If Georgia throws the football, I'm taking 20 minutes off.
You're leaving, huh?
Yeah.
I think you're going to take 20 minutes off anyway.
I think so, too. Line up in a full house backfield with 3 seconds to go. Thank you, Wayne Johnson. He goes to one knee and ends the first half. A surprising number of passes by both ball clubs in the first half, and that is the end of the first half of the Mazda Gator Bowl. It's the Bulldogs of Georgia 17, the Michigan State Spartans 7. Ready to start the 3rd quarter. Georgia leading Michigan State 17-7 in the Mazda Gator Bowl, the 44th renewal of this classic from Jacksonville, Florida. We have 76,236 fans here tonight. A great football city, and we have been delighted with our stay down here this week. Hampton and Worley are deep to receive, 2 of the most dangerous return men in the country. Worley from the 11. Couldn't get outside, dropped at the 15. Great coverage by John Keipel. Back up free safety. First half statistics, and they are amazing. Look at the passing yardage, especially for Georgia. 165 yards. First half, they average 131 yards a game, Joe.
I know the amazing thing, though, Mike, is 35 yards rushing for Georgia. You expect Michigan State to be about even, but not the balance or the unbalance that you have for Georgia.
Fake to Worley. Screen to Thomas. Got to the 19-yard line. Quick flanker screen to John Thomas. Derek Reed made the tackle. Here's what Georgia did with the ball in the first half. First 2 times they had the ball, couldn't move it very far, had to punt. Then came the scoring blitz, a 7-yard drive for a touchdown, a 7-yard drive that resulted in a field goal, then a 5-play drive that went for a touchdown. They had to punt, and then the half ended with Georgia in possession. I said a 7-yard drive. It was obviously a 7-play drive. 2nd and 6.
You won't get a 7-yard drive out of these guys.
Not too many.
Putting the ball in the air.
Worley took a big hit from the right corner, Benson Donaldson.
What Michigan State is doing is they're really getting their corners involved and their safeties. We've seen John Miller come up, number 44, the strong safety, make a hit. That time, Venison Donaldson came up and got down on Worley again. And watch from the right side of your screen, you're going to see number 25 come out and just get right in Worley's face. Michigan State's done an excellent job on Tim Worley tonight, containing him.
9 carries, 20 yards for Worley. Throughout the year, he averaged over 110 yards a game. Johnson to throw. Deep down the middle and too high for John Thomas, who was blasted after he missed the ball. Harlan Barnett was the man who put him down. Michigan State's defense fired up at the start of the third quarter.
Now, this one gets up a little bit high. Now, Thomas doesn't have a chance. But Barnett had one thing in mind, whether he caught it or not, and that's that he was going to pay for it.
Hester comes on to punt on 4th and 4.
Coaches preach the first drive of each half. First drive of the game, first drive of the second half, very important. Michigan State's defense has done its job stopping Georgia.
Hester straight up in the air, and then it takes a bad bounce. Down at the 35-yard line. A punt of 14 yards for Joey Hester. And a break for Michigan State. Joe, they needed something like this very badly.
Well, you know, they hurt themselves in the first half, Mike, when they went and got that roughing the punter penalty when they would have had good field position on a changeover in possession. Now their defense comes out. They stuff Georgia's offense and get the field position. Now, Michigan State's got to capitalize on this, or else it'll be a downer for them.
Ezor behind Montgomery in the eye. Ezor on the toss. Power football, which is what won them their last 6 games. They'll get about 3 yards. Take a look and see what Michigan State did in the first half. And the first 5 times they had the football, they had to punt it away. One of those drives in there, however, was 12 plays and very well executed. Then came a 10-play drive for the touchdown. The last time they had the ball, they had to punt it away.
And featured in that 10-play drive was quite a bit of passing and a big catch by Andre Rison.
Second down, 8 yards to go. Inside the 30 to about the 29-yard line. Demetrius Douglas hanging on his ankles.
Left part of your screen, number 79, Tony Manders. Now, he's got a nickname about it. They have one of the stats is a pancake. Now, what is a pancake? A pancake is when you put a guy on his back. That's sort of like a seated pancake.
That was Wycliffe Lovelace who got into the stat column.
It's like, take a seat. I pancaked you. You know, Georgia hasn't allowed a touchdown all year when the opponents have started in their territory.
It's amazing.
But you didn't know that.
I didn't.
I see.
3rd and 4.
It's a new year. I thought I'd give you all the statistics.
And McAllister just beat the clock, which would have cost him 5 yards with the delay of game. But he spends a timeout with 12:06 to go, third quarter. Back in a moment.
It's easy to see why Mazda truck owners are starting to toot their own horn. They've got enough reasons. Mazda trucks are so reliable. They've been rated #1 in customer satisfaction for 3 straight years. Mazda has the best warranty in the truck business. Nobody else can say that. And when you figure this sporty SE5 is priced close to the other guy's base trucks, what's left to say? I guess that says it. Mazda SE5, a sporty truck the Mazda way.
This is new. Howard Johnson, can this be you? This is Howard Johnson today. This is Howard Johnson today. This is Howard Johnson today. Changing in so many colorful, comfortable, welcoming ways. This is Howard Johnson today. This is Howard Johnson today.
So there's Richie, my twin brother, taking my place at the game. I was cramming for finals, and he only had to warm the bench, like I do. No one can tell us apart.
Oh, you guys, I can always tell just by the sound of your voice.
The color in a voice.
Yeah, but the coach couldn't tell.
The texture of a phrase.
He can now.
That's the uncompromising sound clarity of AT&T. We take you right there and keep you this close.
ESPN's presentation of the 1989 Mazda Gator Bowl, Michigan State versus Georgia, is being brought to you by Mazda Cars and Trucks, including the all-new Mazda MPV, and by today's Howard Johnson. We're changing a lot of minds. Live in Jacksonville, Florida, 12:06 to go, third quarter. Michigan State down by 10, but driving 3rd and 4 at the Georgia 29. Wide receivers to the near side. Instead to give to Ezor, and he dives to the 25, which is where he had to go for the first down.
And that's the key for Michigan State, Mike, is to get him the football as quick as you can, as deep as you can, and let him run straight downhill at that little crease. He doesn't need a big one. I mean, he's only 5'10", 180 pounds. Here's a guy who is a running back with a linebacker mentality. He runs. There's a little crease right there. Not a lot of room. He doesn't try and avoid anybody. He just puts his head down and goes and hits people.
Aaron Chubb was in on the tackle. It is a first down for the Spartans. Ezor again. Maybe a yard this time, stacked up in a hurry. Vince Guthrie, the strong safety, 54, up in a hurry on run support.
Nice job also by Paul Giles, number 67. What they did is they stuffed the block at the point of attack. There's Mandrich coming around. Now he's going to try and take on Guthrie. Guthrie doesn't really get a good piece of him. Guthrie just sidesteps him, which makes sense to get out of the way of a train.
It does.
I mean, you know, he's no dummy. He's not going to take it. He's giving away 100 pounds. Why stand there and get abused? Look, he's even learning how to tie his jersey tight so nobody can hold him.
6'6", 315. Consensus All-American Tony Mandrich. McAllister in trouble. And they've got him. Demetrius Douglas with a sack at the 37. McAllister wanted Bernard Wilson on a quick pattern, but he was covered, and he had to run.
He wants him quick out to the left. And watch this block. Look at that. There's Guthrie up about 4 miles, and Ezor has to bring him down. Now he's waving up the field. Again, I have to really bring up the point that when you're not used to throwing the football, you don't make good decisions with it in your hands. That time he could have thrown it away because his team was really in field goal range. Now he took him out.
It's 3rd and 21. McAllister throws underneath. It's incomplete, short of Bernard Wilson. Trying to get some yardage back, so they might have been back in field goal range. And we'll see what Michigan State decides to do.
This is a tough call for the coach. I mean, you know, you're talking about a 52-yard field goal, and they're going to try it, which is good. What the heck? Why not?
Langlow is out there, so is Butland, the punter. And Langlow has the tee with him. So Butland will not punt. Langlow will go for the field goal. His long this year is 50 yards. This will be from 53.
Yeah, but he is 2 for 1 from outside of 50.
And an extremely accurate kicker. It's short. Dead on line, but about 10 yards short. So Michigan State, after the break that Georgia gave them with the short punt, can't convert, and it's still a 10-point game.
You might expect a guy who flies a jet like this to drive a jet like this, the Mazda MX-6 GT. If you also expect it to fly through the wide open spaces, you're right. But you probably don't expect to find all this wide open space inside. I guess that makes it the one sports coupe which flies in the face of convention. The Mazda MX-6 GT, a sports coupe the Mazda way.
When I was growing up, a True Value hardware store was a pretty special place. They had all kinds of gadgets to build almost anything, and more tools than even my dad. And there was always someone there who could help me out of a jam. Well, a lot of things have changed over the years, but at True Value, you'll still find everything to do the job right, and a person who's happy to help you out, like me. So make True Value Hardware your store of first choice.
Football fans, get ready for the battle of the century as unbeaten Budweiser takes on undefeated Bud Light. It's Bud versus Bud Light in Bud Bowl 1. Pick up your official scorecard wherever you see this display.
Hey, Bud, super idea. You see the neck on that guy?
Use it to follow the action and you could win. So get ready, get set. On January 22nd, Bud Bowl 1. This time, it's for real.
The Goodyear blimp overhead in Jacksonville, Florida. The Enterprise out of Pompano Beach. Short trip up the coast.
Mike, it's in. Michigan State took that ball over on the 35-yard line. They actually lost a yard on that entire drive. So, you know, we said we wouldn't see a drive less than 7 yards. We just did.
A lot of people will question the fact that they didn't punt going for a 53-yard field goal.
I question it. I mean, now you're only letting them go 65 yards instead of, at worst, 80.
Hampton in the tailback. Johnson wants to throw. Now he'll run. 4 Michigan State players converge on him at the 43-yard line. Travis Davis chased him down. Percy Snow was also in on the tackle.
There's a name we haven't called very much, and when you're in that 4-3 defense that Michigan State plays, the middle linebacker has got to be very active.
They haven't run that much.
That's true. I mean, Percy practices all year against the run, and here he is in pass coverage.
2nd and 3. Hampton, big hole. Look out. Hampton to the Michigan State 34-yard line. Derek Reed made the saving tackle, a gain of 24, and he doesn't need much.
There they go. Going to run over number 87, Troy Sadowski. There you see him turn out. Now, Carlos Jenkins, number 51, was the outside linebacker. And boy, watch Rodney Hampton. He's just trying to hurdle everybody. That's an excellent job by Derek Reed, playing off the blocker and making the tackle.
First down, Georgia. Fake to the short side. Johnson back the other way. Incomplete, just overthrown for Marshall. The fake really made everybody bite, and Marshall was open.
That's what happens when you get great running backs. Now, he just gets this thing up, and he is open. Look at, you see in the right part of your screen, you see Johnson back up to try and pull it back, trying to pull that string back just a little bit. There's a Dooley dance. Look at him. You know, he needs a lot more sideline. I'm convinced he needs a lot more sideline to work.
Well, he was injured in the first half, but cut on his hand. He's working on another one.
Come on, Rodney.
Hampton again.
You had an injury report or
Down to
something?
the 28. Kurt Larson, one of the outside linebackers, number 3, was in on the tackle. Hampton will be back next year. There's Larson. Hampton with 719 yards rushing this year. Worley got more carries. Worley already told us he's going pro, even though he's a junior. His class will graduate this year.
Yeah, we asked him. He said, yep. He's going to...
No doubt.
No doubt in my mind. No doubt in his either.
3rd and 4. Johnson got the first down to the 17-yard line of Michigan State. Larson and Jenkins converged, but Wayne Johnson, who did it with his arm in the first half, is doing it with his legs in the second.
I am really impressed with Wayne Johnson's field presence. He knows what he needs. He sets, never hesitates at all. Tucks the ball away and knows exactly where he has to go, and then he still tries to dance and pick up a few more yards.
Georgia already up by 10, bidding for more. Fake to Worley. Johnson throwing. Touchdown, Warner. Well, they may not erase your memory of the old San Diego Chargers, but they're working on it.
They sure are. They're throwing to everybody. Everything comes off that fake to the tailback. And truthfully, it's a heck of a tough situation for Michigan defensively because you've got to respect the running game and the ability of the running backs.
Casey for the point after. drills it through, and the Georgia offense has now stuck 24 points on the board.
Right part of your screen, you'll see him just go down and break out to the corner. Now, with the little fake here, it freezes the linebackers, and he winds up out in the corner all by himself. Little fake to Worley. Here we go. Little counter action. Freezes the secondary. And there he is, just out there all by himself, hanging around the end zone.
24-7. Michigan State trailing now by 17. Vince is learning to love the passing game in his last show.
Yeah, I know. Everybody's sitting around 25 years, or 24 years and 10 games. You know, I'm a Georgia alumni, and they're pounding people, you know, bloody in their noses, playing smash place football. Now all of a sudden, you're right. These guys ought to have lightning bolts on their side, on the side of their pants.
And now Michigan State being forced into a position that they don't care for.
Well, maybe that first half gave them a chance to warm it up, because they're certainly going to have to put the ball in the air, I think, now.
Fowler and Hawkins need to receive. Fowler from the 2. Got back to the 21-yard line, and Bobby McAllister will have to start from there.
What Michigan State's going to have to do, Mike, is they're going to have to get Willie Boyer, number 17, involved in the passing game a little bit. He's the other flanker. He's the other wide receiver besides Risen. And just take a little bit of the heat off of Andre Risen. Get somebody else involved in the passing game.
Of course, Boyer only has 6 catches the entire season. And McAllister has only thrown for 86 yards in this entire game. And now it looks like they may have to go to the air as Ezor gets the carry there. There's Wayne Johnson, career highs, touchdowns, and yards. And he's over there telling Vince Dooley, I told you so.
See, here he's doing an interview. And, you know, this is a guy who's ready for professional football. I mean, you know, he's midway through the third quarter. He's already doing the taped interview. Well, you know what? That guy, I put a little more touch on it than I had to, but I'll get it back the next time.
2nd and 7. Ezor on the delay. He's got the first down, forced out of bounds. Just across the 35 by Chuck Carswell. That scoring drive, 64 yards in only 2:19. And Johnson hit the touchdown pass to his tight end Warner. Selzer in the tailback. He gets the toss. Picks up 2, maybe 3. Selzer, a freshman out of Farmington Hills. Let's go to the sideline and Chris Fowler.
Okay, Mike, I'm with Mr. Jim Wiesner, the Senior Vice President of Mazda Motor of America. Jim, I know this is the 3rd year of association between Mazda and the Gator Bowl. What does Mazda get out of it?
Well, it's a tremendous opportunity for us to showcase our 89 cars and trucks. Also, to continue with our marketing effort is a major automobile manufacturer in the U.S.
Okay, thanks very much for those 89 courtesy cars. We appreciate it. Fellas?
All right, Chris, thank you very much. Jim, you too. Blake Ezor back into the ballgame on 2nd and 7. Michigan State trying to do what it does best, run the football. Ezor to the 42, needed to get to the 44 for the first down.
Well,
Ben Smith got him.
It's not a bad idea, because what they have to do is they have to just continue to try and pick up 7, 8, 9 yards. If they can pick up chunks of yardage that way, then they're going to be all right. But they can't afford to get stuffed for a 2 or 3 yard gain or wind up not picking up a first down on these 3rd and shorts.
This will be 3rd and 2. Plenty of time left. 5:50 to go 3rd quarter. But Michigan State needs 3 scores.
There you see Ezor's over 100 yards already, and they're only midway through the 3rd quarter.
Ezor again. Georgia was waiting that time. He needed to get to the 44, and it looks like he got about a half a yard more than he actually needed.
And Michigan State's going to have to go for it, I believe, on 4th down. No matter if it's a little bit short or he does make it, they're forced into a situation they can't afford to give Georgia back the football. Yeah, he made it. Yep, he made it.
The official who came from the far side marked it halfway between the 44 and the 45, and they have marked it back closer to the 44, so they'll measure.
He makes this by 3 laces.
All right.
3 laces. At my ice check.
They're doing the wave here in the Gator Bowl, which I guess is appropriate since the beach is about 15 minutes away.
Well,
and it is a first down. Was that 3 laces?
3 laces. Okay. The 3 on top. Yeah, it is. This is a great city, Jacksonville. I mean, everybody associated with the Gator Bowl and Mazda has been absolutely terrific. They put on a heck of a show for these football teams. Talking to both coaches and both ball clubs, they've loved being here.
First and 10, Michigan State from the 44. Ezor again, cuts it back. Stayed on his feet. Guthrie came in to finish him off, but the first guy to hit him was Morris Lewis, 57.
I think the reason why Michigan State is doing this now is they want to bring Georgia back up closer to the line of scrimmage. Georgia has set back a little bit more, and now what you see is you see number 79 Mandrich go out and take on the defensive lineman, just run him as far down the field as he can. Look at how he stays on the block. You know, here's a guy who's going to have to learn how to pass block as a pro because he never had to do it much in college, but he has all the tools to be a great one.
Second and 10, looks like McAllister changing the play at the line. Selzer on the toss, trying to go outside. Beasley cut him down at the 45. The senior out of Livonia, Georgia. Michigan State has run 7 plays on this drive. They have not thrown the football.
Any bets on this one?
I'd say on 3rd and 9, they're going to have to do something.
Well, they've thrown it all over, and George Perlis said it. If everything goes lousy for me, he said, I'm going to bring the whole game back in. That's exactly what he's done. He's brought that whole game back into a running attack. And I think he's forced into one now. He's got to put it up.
McAllister rolls toward both wide receivers, wants to go deep. And it's complete to Risen. Touchdown. 55 yards. Hard to believe he could get that wide open against that deep Georgia zone.
Well, he just has that great ability. Now everybody's dancing. You know, you got one quarterback on the sideline doing an interview. Now these come out and dance. Here he just flat runs a little out move. The safety Beasley never gets over for the inside support. He beat a pretty darn good corner too in Ben Smith. I tell you, that's a blue chip. You talk about blue chip football players, that is a blue chipper.
Risen, 125 yards on 5 catches. All the other Michigan State receivers combined, 3 catches for 16 yards. Langlow for the point after. Snap hooked it. And instead of a 10-point margin, a touchdown and a field goal, now you got a field goal, a touchdown, and a 2-point conversion to tie. 3:55 to go. Third. We'll be right back.
Want a slice of pizza?
Me too.
Nothing's better than a fresh, hot Pizza Hut pizza, and nothing's worse than not having enough. With loads of your favorite toppings and 2 layers of cheese, one's never enough.
Ready for the second
Pizza?
Pizza Hut, making it great.
Call now, and you won't miss out on your free video or the 25th anniversary edition of the famous swimsuit issue. It's an entire issue devoted to 25 years of the best in swimwear. And you'll save almost 50% off the cover price. 25 issues payable in 3 monthly installments of only $9.89 each. And you can charge it. Call the number on your screen right now to get your free video, the swimsuit issue, and save on Sports Illustrated.
ESPN opens the door on NCAA basketball. Slam jammed with color and excitement. See a parade of America's outstanding players in sparkling displays nearly every night. Kick off the week with a Big Monday doubleheader featuring Big East and Big Ten excitement. January 9th, top-ranked Syracuse battles Villanova. Then Bobby Knight's Indiana Hoosiers take on Purdue. The color and excitement of Big Monday premieres January 9th, live on ESPN.
Hope you'll be with us tomorrow on ESPN starting at noon Eastern. Our New Year's game day hosted live from the Fiesta Bowl. Tim Brando will be there, and our special guest, Pitt coach Mike Gottfried, will have reports from all the other bowls and keep you up to date on everything that's going on our New Year's game day.
Speaking of other bowls, Michael.
Other bowls.
You're a graduate of West Virginia, aren't you?
No, I grew up in West Virginia. Now, you went to Notre Dame. You were second in the Heisman. I grew up in West Virginia. I had the second best arm in my neighborhood. So...
That's okay. So did I. Well, that's okay. Don't feel bad. I'm going to come over and watch the game with you.
Okay.
Okay? And I don't want you to feel too bad when Notre Dame wins. Okay? You just can't do that. Don't get upset.
I think the Mountaineers are going to win. I don't think that's a problem. That'll be fun.
See, you know, you said, interesting. Who had the best arm in your neighborhood? You mentioned it. Your sister? Actually, truth is, mine did. I was just wondering if yours did, yeah. No, I really, Notre Dame will be #1, Mike. That's okay. Don't worry about it.
Look out for the Mountaineers.
Oh, absolutely. I think they're a great football team.
There's enough partisan politics for this one. Hampton and Worley are deep to receive. Langloh kicking off. By the way, that was the first extra point miss of his career. And that might be a big point before this one's over.
But you brought up, I think the biggest point is you can go for 2 in college football.
Exactly. Hampton across the 20 to the 29-yard line. That scoring drive was 4 minutes, but most of it eaten up in the last play. Rising 55 yards from McAllister. The entire drive went 78 yards. And it was exactly what Michigan State had to have.
Well, again, you know, Georgia's got to know that McAllister's going to look for one guy, and that's Rising. I mean, they don't want to double cover him. They think they can handle him, but he's proven they can't.
That was the only pass play on that drive, and as you pointed out, Joe, I think they were trying to get the Georgia defense to come up a little tighter. Johnson under pressure, throws, incomplete, in and out of the hands of John Thomas, the split end.
The way Wayne Johnson has been effective tonight for Georgia has been out of the pocket or with the little fake pitch, half roll. I think if Michigan State can try and put a little pressure on him, get him moving outside, they'll be able to cause him to be a bit more inaccurate than he has been. And he's only had really 1 year as a quarterback because he had the bad knee during spring. And he has a tremendous amount of potential to work with. Quick release, good feet, good decisions. Could be a great late-round pick as a professional.
Well, he's hoping for the chance. Worley across the 30, lowers the shoulder, gets out to the 35. Late hit and a flag. Snow got him about 5 yards out of bounds.
That's got to be frustrating. I mean, you know, your football team just bounces back. Michigan State has done this twice. They score before the half, then they go and rough a kicker, get a 15-yard penalty. Now, your offense goes down and scores. You wind up holding them on second down to short yardage, and then you come up and do something stupid like this. I mean, a guy's 4 months. You can't hardly get to him because there's people out there.
Real smart of Georgia not to try to retaliate.
Have a dead ball. Personal foul. Late hit out of bounds on the defense. Be a first down.
So they get 15 yards additional, and Snow went over and apologized to some of the Georgia players for that hit.
You know, he's a very intense player. Coach Perlis had to stop his players from being in pads because Percy was getting all worked up. That's the reason they didn't go out in pads on Friday and Saturday, because they were afraid he was going to hurt somebody. And I'd imagine with Georgia running as much, he's frustrated. He can't hit anybody.
Johnson on another pass play, comes back to Worley on the screen. Worley pulls his way to the 20-yard line. Donaldson and Barnett had to make the tackle, a gain of 30.
Wayne Johnson again draws Davis to him. Now, Michigan State almost had that defense, but Worley again in the open field. Larson takes on 2 blockers. He does his job, but there's nobody out there to help out. Donaldson finally gets up off his feet 25 or 30 yards later to make the tackle.
If we had told you at the start of the game that Tim Worley would have 10 carries for 25 yards and you were a Georgia fan, I think you believe you'd be down by about 30 points. That hasn't been the case. Wayne Johnson having a career night, intended for Thomas, incomplete. Derek Reed was behind him in coverage.
Two things. When we talked with Wayne Johnson yesterday, we asked him what he felt like was his strengths. It's interesting to talk to an individual and see what they do well. Here's a young man that said, number one, I throw well out of the pocket. He said, I'm a drop back passer. And secondly, he says, I really believe I can read defenses quite well. And he has shown it tonight. He's made good decisions with the football.
Hampton comes in the tailback on 2nd and 10. Georgia already in field goal territory. Johnson rolls. Throws back again, almost intercepted. That would have been a touchdown for Kurt Larson.
Well, he at least gone a long way.
He was in a tie for the national lead in interceptions with 8 this year.
That's right. He had one right in his hands here. He wished he had this one back, because you're right. You'll see in front of him, there's nothing but green grass. Now they're trying to go to Sadowski. That was a little bit tougher catch than it looked in the beginning, because it looked like it got by him. But a big play, forcing a 3rd down now.
3rd and 10, and Michigan State needs a break like that.
Well, you know, I would be concerned with the running backs catching the ball, to be honest with you. I mean, they haven't thrown much to their wide receivers. It's passes to Worley and Hampton to hurt everybody.
Flag is down. Will stop the play. Had some movement. Looked like Russell DeFore, number 67, got an early start.
Dead ball. Full start on the offense. 3rd down, 15.
So it cost him 5, and there is DeFore, who was playing at guard tonight.
Now, you remember, Georgia had the ball down on the 1 early in the first half, wound up taking a penalty, having to kick a field goal. So, you know, they've hurt themselves a little bit as well.
DeFore, redshirt freshman, backup left tackle, comes in to play right guard because Lamont Tellis was hurt. Johnson. Nice scramble, got down to the 20-yard line, and Percy Snow was right there again. So the field goal team will come on 4th and 9.
Well, Michigan State's defense is really, other than having to be put in unfortunate situations by a couple of penalties, has done their job of holding that potent, wide open, explosive Georgia offense. Who said these guys were
those
dull?
pass-happy Bulldogs.
Who are those guys they said they were dull?
Steve Crumley will try the field goal. They'll spot it at the 27 to 37-yard attempt. Straight on and perfect. Crumley, one of a dying breed of straight-on kickers. And it's 27-13, back to a 2-touchdown ball game. Coming up January 15th, that's a Sunday, the College Football All-Star Game live from Yokohama, Japan. 10 o'clock Eastern, and Troy Aikman and Tony Mandarich, who's playing here, just a couple of the stars scheduled to play in that ball game. And George Perlis will be there as one of the coaches. Just one of the perks of having an outstanding year, and George Perlis has had a couple of those back-to-back. In the last 2 years, his team's in the Big Ten, 13-1-2.
There's a man who loves to be. He wouldn't be at any other school than Michigan State.
He's already got his retirement plan.
Isn't that funny? You do it. You tell it.
Well, he says he's already has his parking place picked out. He's already got it reserved. He's going to go out there in a camper, 9 o'clock in the morning, and start tailgating when he retires.
For all the Michigan State people that are watching, George Perlis will be parked in the first space in Lot A, right in front of the tunnel when he leaves coaching.
And he's one of those guys, he just loves his school. Loves to talk about Duffy Daugherty. And they'll bring this one out. Courtney Hawkins dancing his way to the 20 and no further. So with 2:09 to go third quarter, Michigan State has the ball back down by 14. Georgia did a nice job on that last drive, going 51 yards. After Michigan State had gotten the touchdown, they came back to post their own 3 on Crumley's field goal. Keep an eye on Risen. He has been and will be McAllister's primary target. 3 wide receivers into the ballgame right now, and they give it to Ezor. He'll get maybe a yard and no more. And a little more pushing and shoving going on here in the second half.
Well, Michigan State continue. You know, they're going to run on first down, it looks like, try and get Georgia's defense brought in. They put the 3 wide receivers out to try and spread Georgia's defense out, figuring that their offensive line can handle it. But what's happening is Georgia's defense is getting around Michigan State. They're really not winning the line of scrimmage like I think they thought they could.
Ezor again. Got maybe a yard. The numbers on him, 24 carries, 106 yards. And really, it's been a quiet 106 yards.
It has. Nothing spectacular, of course, because Michigan State's put the ball in the air. But a guy who has really done an outstanding job is Vince Guthrie, number 54. He's been around the football a lot, and he's been in Ezor's pocket a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if that little nickel on Ezor's chin has got a little double D stitch in it.
Guthrie showed a lot of courage. They asked him to switch from linebacker to strong safety, not a normal position for him. He thought it was better for the team and did it. He gets a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, he kept his number.
Yes, he did. McAllister on the scramble gets out of bounds at the 31-yard line. It is a first down for the Spartans.
I gotta believe that Michigan State's got to put the ball up in the air. There's 52 seconds left in this quarter, only down by 2 touchdowns, which when you got a guy like Risen doesn't take very long, which we just saw in the last drive.
That's right.
But they can't get totally away from throwing the football. There isn't enough time left for them to try and pound it out against Georgia, especially with their wide open offense.
Selzer in at the tailback. He gets the toss, driven out of bounds, got to the 35 and just across it. Webster was in on the stop along with Guthrie again.
George Perlis loves to run at his sidelines. He says, if I've given the opportunity to, I'll run at my sideline because I want to work the official. He says, I don't want to run over at their sideline where their coach can talk to the officials. He says, I want all those guys over by me so I can talk to them and let them know what's going on.
2nd and 6. Selzer again lowers his head, rams for maybe a yard. Go to the sideline again, Chris Fowler. Chris?
Okay, Mike, we've told you about Tony Mandrage's pancake statistic when he knocks a defender on his back. This is pancake central right here, and right now the stack stands at 6. That's how many pancakes we've recorded so far tonight. The problem, the rest of the Spartan offensive line has not recorded that many pancakes. Got any syrup, Mike?
No, I'm fresh out. Joe ate it all.
I wonder if he gets a chance to eat them all after he's done.
Probably will. 3rd and 3. McAllister deep again for Risen. What a catch at the 10. Holy cow. A 52-yard gain. Beasley couldn't get his feet set to make the play.
I just can't seem to make the point enough. Georgia's got to know that there's only one place that McAllister's going to throw. This ball is underthrown and it's behind Risen. Now what? He'll turn to the outside, off balance, make the catch, and get it into his body for the reception. This is just another outstanding catch. This is like that catch that Henderson made for Georgia in the first quarter. Look at that reception.
52 yards on that one. He had a 55-yard touchdown catch earlier and has 177 yards on the night. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. Our score, 27-13 Georgia.
Fly away, fly away, fly away.
Why don't you join Mazda's Frequent Flyer Club and fly away in a Mazda RX-7 convertible?
Fly away.
This is a change. This is can this be you? This is Howard Johnson today. This is Howard Johnson today. This is Howard Johnson today. Changing in so many colorful, comfortable, welcoming ways. This is Howard Johnson today. This is Howard Johnson today.
I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting all day. When I'm through with you, you're gonna be history, man. I'm gonna eat you up. And you know what? I'm gonna enjoy it.
Nothing takes care of a mean appetite like the tender chunks of chicken and rich egg noodles in Campbell's Chunky Chicken Nugget Soup.
Eat you up.
Campbell's Chunky, it takes care of the meanest appetites.
Oh, Harold, it's lovely.
I hope you like it.
It reminds me of when we first got electric light back when I was a child. Oh. Daddy used to draw his chair up to that light and read to us. Oh, the memories. But Harold, this is the 80s. And I wanted a Bud Light.
If you want the one light that outshines them all, ask for Bud Light.
Kill the light, will you, Harold?
Because everything else is just a light.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
Suffering a loss. It means more than having a simple possession destroyed. It means suffering the shock and the aftershock that comes with a loss of control. Which is why Allstate always responds so quickly. In fact, faster than most everyone to help speed your recovery. Both physical and emotional. The Allstate policy for fast, fair claims. Another reason.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Ready to start the fourth quarter of the Mazda Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, Florida. Georgia up by 2 touchdowns, but Michigan State first and 10 at the Bulldog 10-yard line. Ezor on the toss to the 4, maybe the 3-yard line.
Oh my, did that left side of the line of Michigan State push back the Georgia defense. Watch it. This is what's known as putting everybody back in your lap. Hats on hats. Montgomery's involved, the fullback. Excellent job by running people out. Dwayne Young, number 29, the other tight end. Bet you they run left again.
Ezor, touchdown. And you saw George Perlis saying go for 1 point. The conversion would put him down by 7.
Look at the left side. Now, we talked about Georgia getting across the line of scrimmage. Now, all of a sudden, Ezor is running up and down the field, north and south. And all he's doing is trying to avoid the feet of his offensive lineman. That was Kevin Robbins, number 71, who helped create the hole.
Langloh is on for the point after. The last touchdown, he missed the first PAT of his career.
Now he looked up to find the goalpost. There they are. Okay. He's got his sights set.
Got that one. And with 14:24 to go in the game, Michigan State has pulled within a touchdown in the 44th annual Mazda Gator Bowl.
You might expect a guy who flies a jet like this to drive a jet like this. The Mazda MX-6 GT. If you also expect it to fly through the wide open spaces, you're right. But you probably don't expect to find all this wide open space inside. I guess that makes it the one sports coupe which flies in the face of convention. The Mazda MX-6 GT. Sports coupe, the Mazda way.
A fender bender on the freeway.
You?
No, a guy, anyone. This is just to show how Wang's integrated image system will handle a claim. Adjuster comes out, takes a picture of the fender, signs off an adjustment, handwritten document, photograph, an image. I'll go back to home office via electronic mail. Touch a button, and you got a data window, text window, image window right in front of you. A guy in the field wants to verify the estimate. Click. The adjuster's handwritten report and the photo are on the screen, processed in half the time. That's integrated imaging, and Wang has it. Another example, customer service. A guy calls EBC.
Okay, I'll be right down.
great taste and just 1 calorie, everyone's turning on to Diet Coke.
ESPN's presentation of the 1989 Mazda Gator Bowl, Michigan State versus Georgia, is being brought to you by Mazda Cars and Trucks, including the all-new Mazda MPV, and by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. Great ball game in Jacksonville, Florida. Georgia 27, Michigan State 20. And we've got a long time to go. 14:24 left. Well, who thought we would see this many points out of these two run-oriented ball clubs?
That's right. Welcome to Air Georgia. That's terrific. Look at that. Johnson, you talk about the job Wayne Johnson has done at quarterback. He's 5 for 9 the first quarter for 66 yards, 6 for 9 the second quarter for 99. Now he's 3 for 8 in the third quarter for 53 yards. Now, if my math is correct, that's over 200 yards.
It certainly is. They may have started something. Maybe Don Coryell will be on the candidate list for the new head coach at Georgia. 218 yards total for Johnson. Hampton. Guy can fly. Got out to the 28, 29-yard line.
Watch this right here. Number 63, Teddy, is going to take it out. Mandrick's going to turn out. Number 71, Robbins, going to come around and clean up. And Ezor is just going to head right into that big old hole for a TD. This is an excellent job. This is what Michigan State wants to do. There you see the guard pull out, make the turn. That's Kula. And Robbins just really has nobody to block as Ezor just goes bouncing in the end zone.
1st and 10, Georgia at their own 29. Fake to Hampton. Johnson to throw again. Got away. Jump pass. Complete. Warner still on his feet. Do you believe this? Wayne Johnson is having a career tonight.
That was a double jump pass. First time you jump out of the way of the defensive guy. Watch it. Here's the first jump. This is a double jump. This isn't just a jump pass. There's one jump. That's actually a hop. That goes down as a hop. Now here's the jump pass. Look at this. Oh, what an athlete. Jiminy cricket.
He has really put on a show.
That's the hop jump. See,
well, missed the skip.
Well, I'm sure a lot of the Georgia fans have never seen that. Of course, they've never seen the ball in the air this much. They're probably getting air sick. They have to start issuing air sickness bags to the Georgia fans now when they go to the games.
Into the Michigan State defense.
Boy, isn't that the truth?
Measuring for the first down, and it is short. So it will be 2nd and inches.
That's just amazing. First you hop over somebody, then you hop up to throw one.
Looks like one of those old bubble gum cards. Hampton, the tailback, will get the call, has the first down. Out to the 42-yard line. Hampton out of Houston, Texas. Ridgeway and Larson made the tackle. That last drive, and an impressive one it was, 80 yards.
And again, Mike, as was the one before, 53 yards of that 80 was a McAllister to Rison pass, just like the one previous to that, 50 yards of it was a pass to Rison.
Sports Center follows our game, and you'll be brought up to date on things like the NFL playoffs and all the NHL and NBA action.
Big surprise out in Candlestick Park, I think, to a lot of people. I thought Minnesota was the best team in the NFL.
Johnson on the roll. Didn't even look to pass. He wants to run. This one ducks down to the Michigan State 48-yard line.
Well, what's happened is he's dropped back to throw so much. Now he's got Michigan State's defense saying, hey, he's going to pass, and they fall back. We saw just the opposite of that when Michigan State pounded the ball to open up their passing game.
Michigan State, remember, the #1 defensive unit in the Big Ten, giving up less than 300 yards a game. And Wayne Johnson has almost that much passing tonight. There you see the numbers on Johnson. Total offense, 265 yards. Sadowski was the man in motion. Hampton slices to the 36. Jenkins made the tackle.
Todd Wheeler, number 63, is a center. He's at 257. You see him right in the middle of your screen. Now, you see how the two defensive linemen are caught? That's Davis, number 75, and Ridgway, number 55. Now, that's just the old twist where Ridgway is supposed to tie the center up and Davis is supposed to come around. They just took themselves out of the play, and Hampton went right up the gut.
Hampton now has 52 yards rushing. Henderson gets the carry. Tripped over a blocker and went down to the 32-yard line.
Here's another one that everybody has talked about. Will Keith Henderson, declare himself eligible for the draft? Another guy, 6'2", 202 pounds. Junior only, averages 5'7" a carry out of Cartersville, Georgia. He could be looking. We talked about it in the open, Mike, that most of the coaches feel like this is the best group of running backs in the country on one football.
Sure is.
A couple of them may wind up playing pro ball next year.
Both Worley and Henderson missed last year because of academics. Hampton on the toss. Look out! He's gone! Touchdown, Georgia! Hampton with a great cutback, a 32-yard run, and a touchdown for the Dogs. His third of the night. Casey for the point after to make it a 14-point game again. Joe, this is just a great cut by a great runner.
It really is. Johnson goes down. He's running the option. Now he just gets rid of it real quick. The linebacker. Now watch this right here. He just doesn't even break stride when he gets hit. It's like he just got touched. And he points back to John Miller and he says, "Hey, look, don't worry about it. I'm in the end zone. Don't even bother trying. I'm home." There's the guy with. I got to believe that this guy has got the best moves tonight. None of the running backs. That must be where all the Georgia running backs have learned their moves from Coach Dooley.
Vince is over 100 yards himself. 11:58 to go in the game. It's Georgia 34, Michigan State 20.
You know, if I've discovered one thing from driving this new Mazda 929, it's this. Not only does it measure up to the great cars of the world with its luxury and quiet, it more than measures up when you introduce it to your favorite piece of road. The new Mazda 929, a high-performance luxury sedan, the Mazda way.
Keeping track of your life can be a lot more exhausting than living it, unless you have the Gold Card from American Express. Where you were, what you did, how much you spent, all in the year-end summary of charges. Reason alone to possess the Gold Card.
This is your executive section.
Executive section.
This is your welcoming gift.
Welcoming gift?
And this is your newly decorated room.
This is Howard Johnson?
Howard
Johnson. You probably noticed I haven't been running all that well lately. Mileage is down, no power. Well, look at this. Could you breathe through this? Hey, if I don't get enough air, you can kiss performance and mileage goodbye. So let's go to Precision Tune. They'll diagnose my problem, tune me up, and replace whatever needs replacing. And it's guaranteed. So take me to Precision Tune. We'll both breathe a lot easier.
Precision Tune. We do more than fix your car. We guarantee it.
Here's how some of the stuff, and he's done it tonight. And Vince Dooley with a leg up for number 201. 11:58 to go in the game. He's up by 14. Courtney Hawkins and Blake Ezor back to return the punt. Hawkins a couple of yards deep. Trying to get outside. No place to go. Driven out of bounds shy of the 20-yard line. And once again, McAllister is faced with moving his team up and down the field, and time is becoming a factor. There's that Georgia drive, 71 yards and only 2:26. And Hampton with that classic run got the last 32. Be a junior next year. Look at the total offense, 155 yards. I think he's a great player.
It really is. I mean, there's absolutely, the thing is he's got at least a couple more years left.
Exactly.
That's scary.
It is for the people in the SEC. Ezor. Stood up that time by Wycliffe Lovelace.
Again, Michigan State going back to what they did. Come out, run the ball a little bit, and then throw the ball as far as you can down the field in Rison's direction and let him make a catch.
He's had 2 big ones tonight. George Perlis knows he needs 7 points in a hurry to make it a 7-point game and give his club a chance. 2nd and 7. Movement and a flag.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. 5 yards. Still 2nd down.
Let's call that dead ball. Dead ball. Of course the ball's dead. Couldn't play with it. It was live. Wouldn't be able to get your hands on it.
Would make it interesting,
I don't
though,
understand some of that terminology. Dead ball. Of course it's dead. Can't you just say, before the ball was snapped? I don't know. I guess not, huh? I guess we'll stay with dead ball.
And this is the first day of the new year.
That's great. I'm off to a great day.
Yes, you are.
Can't wait for the next 364.
McAllister on a half roll. Near side and too high for Rison.
He had Rison open way out on the sideline. Rison just drove the defensive back off as far as he could. And their ball was nowhere to be found. Look at this drive. Very little hesitation coming out. And as hard as Carswell drives, and that ball's out of the frame. That's an out of framer. That's an OTF. It's a ball of OTF, out of the frame.
364 more days, huh?
Yeah, and I get to spend a lot of it with you.
3rd and 12. McAllister in trouble. Got away. Throws complete. It's a 1st down. Rison came back and got it at the 31. Ben Smith was with him, but a good play by McAllister just to get rid of it.
You know, it's just like watching a basketball game and knowing that Michael Jordan is in it. You know he's going to catch ball. You know he's going to get the ball. And here he is again. Now he scrambles around. He's being covered by different people. This is Ben Smith. We've talked about Ben Smith's ability to cover. But look at how he comes back for the ball, cradles it, and has such great presence. That's as fine a look. In any league of football, that's as fine a looking receiver as I've seen in a while.
He is outstanding. Says he's playing this game for his mother. She sacrificed so much for him when he was a kid. Go to the fullback Montgomery, and Montgomery lost the ball. And Michigan State got it back. Good hustle downfield by Vince Tata, the right guard.
That is great hustle. When you get an offensive lineman all the way downfield. Now, Montgomery is not down. The ball just gets knocked loose. Now, from the right part of your screen, look at that. Just a little bit of muscle. Tata just comes in and scoops it up.
6'2", 266, a senior out of Linden, Michigan. 2nd and 5. Clock ticking away. 9:40 left in the game. Ezor on the delay. He's quick. Up to the 43-yard line, knocked out of bounds. Another 1st down. Carswell put him out of bounds.
This is a design play, Mike. This is not something where Ezor is just going to run where he thinks he sees something. What they try and do is they'll start the ball to the right. Number 79, Mandridge, on the left part of your screen. They want to run to him, even though the action of the ball goes away. Now they come back. He just reads Mandridge's block. Mandridge is standing there like a big wall, and he just figures he can turn and head out of bounds. Does a good job of stopping the clock as well.
Ezor had a seam for a minute. They closed it in a hurry out to the 47-yard line. Of course, Michigan State coming back should not be a surprise to anybody after the start, 0-4-1. I mean, a lot of teams would have just laid down and forgotten about it. But these kids came back and won 6 straight games, finished second in the Big Ten.
George Perlis talked about his football team. He said, you know, you don't expect bickering from your coaches. You know, it's all part of the coaching profession. He said, when your football team is getting beat up like that, they didn't have Mandrich, they had Miller over. Excuse me, they had Miller over at the weak safety. He said, but his football players really hung together, and that's what he's very proud of.
Ezor, not this time. Hit at the line of scrimmage and spun down. Hiawatha Berry was right there. This brings up a 3rd and 5. Comes the blitz. McAllister with time throws to Risen. It's a first down near the Georgia 40-yard line. Carswell again made the tackle. Good protection from McAllister that time. Let's go to the sideline and Chris Fowler.
Okay, Mike, I'm standing by with Bill Dooley, the head football coach at Wake Forest, and of course Vince's brother. Big history for the Dooley family in this Gator Bowl game, right?
Well, that goes back a long time ago, back to 1972, when I was at the University of North Carolina, and of course he was at Georgia.
And who won the football game?
Well, they did. We led it 3-0 all the way to the 4th quarter, and they scored late and won the ball game 7-3.
Okay, Mike.
Thank you, Chris. McAllister throws this time to Wilson inside the 30 to the 25. Demetrius Douglas drags him down. Let's go back down to Chris and Coach Bill Dooley.
Okay, how do you evaluate your brother's wide-open game plan for this? Are you surprised what the Spartans are?
Well, they call him Mayor Dooley after the night. He really did a good job at Georgia throwing the ball very well, but when the score was 27-20, Georgia came back, went to the old bread and butter, took the ball right down the field and made it 34-20.
Okay, thanks, Coach. Mike?
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. 7:32 to go in the ball game. We have a timeout on the field. And Michigan State driving, trying to cut into a 14-point lead. We'll be back to the Mazda Gator Bowl in a moment.
Here it comes. There are 4 good reasons to see Jim Ellis Porsche Audi Sterling before January 1st. The biggest discounts of the year, special interest rates and lease plans, rebates and cashback incentives, and the South's biggest inventory of Audi, Porsche, Sterling, and Lotus. Jim Ellis has over 60 late-model luxury imports and hundreds of new Porsches, Audis, and Sterlings in stock. So add up all the reasons and get the deal of a lifetime at Jim Ellis, the dealer that excels for less, on Peachtree Industrial inside I-285.
Why don't you join Mazda's Frequent Flyer Club and fly away in a Mazda RX-7 convertible?
Fly away.
The Goodyear Blimp Enterprise out of Palmetto Beach, Florida, over the Gator Bowl for the Mazda Gator Bowl game that has Georgia on top by 2 touchdowns with 7:32 to go in the game, but Michigan State has it at the Georgia 25. And Andre Rison has just broken the Gator Bowl record with 202 yards receiving on 8 catches. What a performance.
Average of 25 yards, which is a little bit above his normal average of 23.6. I mean, that, you know, he's got a great physical build about him. He's 190 pounds, 5'11". Like we said, he started for the Michigan State basketball team. But he's proven he can start somewhere in the NFL also.
1st and 10 Spartans. Ezor cuts back inside the 20 to the 19-yard line. Terry Webster again in on the stop. Guthrie was also up there. Boy, Guthrie's had a great game.
"96 years of football, I've lost just 2 games when scoring 28 points or more." Whew. I guess you'd call that history, huh?
And Vince Dooley sure hopes that it's not 3.
One was Clemson in '86, and the other one was back 18-something.
Charles Jackson Ezor lowers the shoulder, gets it to the 17-yard line, needs to come up just shy of the 15 for the first down.
Having watched Michigan State's offense, I got to believe that what they'll do is they'll put McAllister on a run-pass option. Sprint him out and say, look, get the first down, Bobby, if you can. If you get a shot up the field, take it, but not pick up the first down.
It's 3rd and 2, and Michigan State has converted its last 10 third down opportunities. Ball at the 17. Clock running. 6:24 and counting. They can't use too much more time. Ezor. First down to the 13-yard line. Remember, Michigan State took a timeout earlier in this half, so they only have 2 left, and that may be a factor before this is over.
Well, they've got to get in the end zone. I mean, they've got to get in and out of the huddle a little bit quicker than they're doing, because you got 6:10 left in the quarter. You're down by 14. If, let's say, it takes a minute or so for you to score, Georgia's going to get the ball back with 5 minutes and change, and you know what those running backs, what they can do. They can eat up a lot of time, so Michigan State's got to get it in and get it out and get it in the end zone.
It's been an 11-play drive, and Ezor has carried it 7 times. McAllister, naked bootleg, fumbled it. Well, he turned around and saw Aaron Chubb standing out there, and I think he was surprised. Chubb stayed at home.
Well, that was one of the things that they told the Georgia defense is stay where you are, because there's such great cutback runners, Michigan State, especially Ezor. And see, there's a pass. You can see the tight end going to be open. Ooh. Ooh, Vince is going to go out and get this one. Boy, could you do a great film of the Vince Dooley dance.
2nd and 20. That's a big, big play. Flag is down. McAllister's got all the room in the world on the right side if he can get there. Floats it for his tight end, complete to Gasevich. And now we'll check the penalty. Rich Gasevich, who only had 7 catches all year long, got that one. But it will come back.
Previous spot. Hold on. Here's going to be a 2nd down. Holding on the offense, 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Now it's 2nd and a mile.
Well, I think the good thing about it is it's a mile. And the better thing about it is it's 2nd down, which is a much better thing.
I'll go for the 2nd down part.
So I slipped. Okay, I tried to cover myself, and I made a mistake. Okay, I admit it. I made a mistake. It's a new year. I'm sweeping it clean. I did. I wanted to say the best thing about it is it is 2nd down.
Okay, I can go along with that. 2nd and 28. Comes the blitz. McAllister in trouble. Sacked at the 50, Richard Tarditz. Came into the game with a school record 29 career sacks.
Here's a kid who wants to play Australian rules football next year. And he's had a pretty good start on it right now with American football.
And Vince is cooking. And it's now 3rd and 44.
Yeah, there's nothing good about this situation.
No, you need a Hail Mary for a first down.
Say, they've got one in Rising Sun.
You can bet he'll be the target. McAllister unloads deep, Rising sandwich between 2. He caught it! Touchdown! Holy cow! and Carswell were all over him, and somehow Risen got the ball.
He never got behind the defense. He had to really, really go just to get in a place to catch the ball, and he comes down with it.
Unbelievable. Langloh to make it a 7-point game, and does. Risen, 9 catches, 252 yards.
Here it is from the reverse angle now. McAllister just sets and just throws it. And you'll see that Risens really doesn't get behind the defense. He's sandwiched and manages to come down with that thing somehow for the 6 points. I mean, you couldn't be any closer to him than Carswell was, number 27. There's no mystery about this one. This is just run down the field. Now he looks back for the ball. That's Beasley, number 20, and Carswell, number 27, and the ball still gets through. Ends up with a touchdown. My, oh my.
This is one of the great individual performances I think I've ever seen by that young man, Andre Rison. And remember, he said before this game that he was playing college football for his mom. Well, Mom's got to be awful proud tonight. And what a game. 34-27, 3:49 left.
How's that for 3 yards in a cloud of dust football, huh?
Michigan State has actually had the ball 13 minutes longer than Georgia had. And it's Georgia's job right now to take a little bit of time off that clock.
You know, I mean, if they were running the ball, you'd expect it.
Exactly.
But with them putting the ball in the air, I don't know.
Would you think about an onside kick?
No, not at this stage. What you got to do is, and George Perlis being the defensive coach he is, he's going to kick it down deep. He's going to tell the guy, kick it as far as you can, let the defense go out and put us in a position to possibly tie or go for 2. And I'm sure he'd go for 2 if it got that close.
Neither team has made a turnover tonight. There's Hampton all the way back to the 5. Look out for this guy. Excuse me, Worley. Forced out of bounds, shy of the 30-yard line. Tremendous scoring drive. Remember, that was 3rd and 44. And they hit the 50-yard bomb. That drive was 8 minutes and 9 seconds.
Well, we talked about the Hail Mary. Tonight he's dressed in green with a woman on his back. He's an answer. That's the third down they've thrown for over 50 yards.
Do you remember how many 3rd down and 44s you converted?
Yeah. It's not hard. None. I didn't want any. I called timeout every time I got one.
Henderson, the fullback, reverses his field, got a block. This kid can run too. He's out to the 36. Donaldson cut him down there. The last 6 times Michigan State has had the ball, they've scored 4 touchdowns. This has been a great game.
Oh.
And a great week for us.
Terrific.
The hospitality the Gator Bowl Association in the city has shown us has been unmatched.
You know, the Mazda Gator Bowl is something special, and the people have really made it even more special. Now, these 2 teams are making it a night to remember.
2nd and 3. Hampton, the tailback. He'll get the call. 1st down. To the 45-yard line. Now all the pressure falls on the Michigan State defense. They have to stand now or forget it. They have 2 timeouts left.
It's these next 3 plays that are the most important. They've got 2 timeouts, and what they're going to have to do is stuff them big here and force them to throw the ball and hope they can complete it.
Clock running, 2:43 left. 34-27. Georgia over Michigan State in what was billed as a low-scoring defensive game. So much for billing. Johnson will keep it on the ground. Got maybe 1. Good hustle by Travis Davis, 75. And the ever-present Percy Snow, the middle linebacker.
He's finally getting a chance to hit somebody. Got to feel pretty good about it. Now they run the ball a little bit.
Time ticking away on Michigan State.
Of course, there is no 2-minute warning, so the clock will continue to run.
The play clock is down to 13 seconds, and Georgia will use all of it they can.
Again, another good job by Wayne Johnson, the Georgia quarterback, of being aware of what he has to do to protect the lead.
Hampton. Broke 2 tackles. 45 forced out of bounds at the 43 by Donaldson. Great run by Hampton in a tough spot. He's now over the 100-yard mark.
They've got him at the line of scrimmage. I mean, Georgia runs right up the middle. People get a hand on him. They just can't hold on to him. I haven't seen anybody hit him in the legs yet and even slow him down tonight.
What a duo, Worley and Hampton. Either one you think could start for anybody.
Then you got Henderson that doesn't get a chance to play.
A minute 48, 1st and 10. A new cycle for the Dogs. Hampton again. Trying to protect the ball, gets down to the 40-yard line.
Michigan State's got to call a timeout now.
And they'll use one there. So we've got a timeout on the field. 1:37 to go in the game. Stay with us.
Mazda's got a brand new vehicle that's as unique and special and friendly as the family dog. It's the all-new Mazda MPV. It carries 7 like a wagon, it's versatile like a van, and with its responsive V6, it performs like a Mazda. If Mazda's MPV sounds like something that's never been before, you're right. About the only thing it won't do is get your paper in the morning. The all-new Mazda MPV. Family transportation, the Mazda way.
Nature's light, bathing fields of grain, enriching full, fresh hops, giving life to sparkling streams, nourishing all the natural things that go into making Bud Light. The light beer that's beechwood aged for a clean, fresh taste that makes Bud Light the one light that outshines them all.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Patrick. Join me and John Saunders for Sports Center after the ball game. We'll have highlights of today's 2 NFL playoff games. We'll preview the Fiesta Bowl and hear from West Virginia quarterback Major Harris. All that and more coming up on Sports Center after the game. Now back to Jacksonville.
Of course, Bill Patrick and John Saunders will be back right after our telecast for Sports Center, and they'll have complete updates on the NFL playoffs for you, as well as everything else that's going on in the world of sports. But this one far from decided. 2nd and 6, Georgia. A minute 37 to go. Michigan State 1 timeout left. Worley in a tailback. Johnson on the option. He'll get a couple down to the 37-yard line. Snow was in on the tackle, and Michigan State will use another timeout. Here are MVP choices for the University of Georgia. Wayne Johnson, 15 out of 27, 227 yards and 3 touchdowns. The 15 completions and the 3 touchdowns are all Bulldog Bowl records, and he's also rushed for 40 yards. And a check in the amount of $2,000 donated by Mazda to each school's general scholarship fund to further assist qualified students in all chosen academic fields. And the most valuable player for Michigan State, Andre Rison, an incredible night. 9 catches, 252 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Now, those are a couple of MVPs, and we got to see this up close. That's a beautiful trophy.
Now, that helmet sits on about a 2-foot trophy. That's something they can be very, very proud of. And the performance that they put on tonight, each one of them is something they can be extremely proud of.
Vince Dooley closing out his career. He has a minute and 29 seconds left to go.
I got to believe right now he almost wishes it wasn't ended. Look at the look on his face.
Yeah, I think you're right.
You know, it's like, gosh.
Only 10 men in the history of college football have won 200 games, and that's one of them. Worley dives forward, depending on the mark, gets a first down, and it is. John Miller made the tackle, but not before they got the first down. And now Georgia can run out the clock.
Well, it looks like that Vince Dooley's not going to have to accept the game ball from George Perlis, although it was a nice gesture on George's part. Now he's got to start feeling something. I mean, well, the hat's off. I guess that's like Red Auerbach's cigar, huh?
It's got to be so emotional right now for a man who has given a quarter of a century of his life to the University of Georgia as the head coach and more recently athletic director. Done everything as a gentleman with integrity. Not only a great football coach, his record speaks for itself. And now Georgia just works on the clock. 34-27, great game, and the smile comes to the face of Mr. Dooley.
How about that? Georgia got a delay of game penalty. They let the clock run past the allotted time, the 25-second time, to get the ball off.
In the end, it shouldn't make much difference. A man who has really been a credit to his profession.
I think he gets the Fred Astaire Award as far as I'm concerned. There isn't a better dancer in college coaching.
Some of those bronze tap shoes as a going-away gift.
Fabulous.
Johnson will kneel and took a late shot. And that Ridgway hit him, and I can't believe there's not a penalty flag down on that. Johnson kneeled, and Ridgway just came in with a cheap shot, and that's not
bad.
The way you want to end it.
No, and I'll guarantee you, George Perlis is going to get a hold of him, too, and explain something to him. That ain't the way you do it with class.
And how the official did not throw a flag immediately, I don't understand.
There's one down now, but that's for fighting after.
Well, Johnson just came back and kneeled and was drilled. You can call it frustration or anything else, but it's not a good play.
No, it's classless.
It is.
I mean, the quarterback's kneeling down. It's not like the ball's loose somewhere and you're going to hit somebody.
And really, what makes it bad is Michigan State has distinguished itself so much here tonight, and you hate to see it finish out that way.
Absolutely fabulous. And both football teams, Georgia and Michigan State, have put on a show tonight. And both teams have represented their universities, and each of these young men have represented their hometowns in such a first-class manner. And I think the field is painted beautifully. The performances have been beautiful. It's a great memory for a terrific coach, Vince Dooley. You know, you can see in his eyes right now, Mike, all those 25 years going. I mean, you just see the 25 years just ringing up.
I think it's getting a little misty on the Georgia sideline at this point.
And I'll guarantee you Barbara Dooley's probably already in tears.
Now Johnson is courting disaster with that. And now they'll count it down. Proud moment for one of the great figures in college football, Vince Dooley, whose Georgia Bulldogs give him the one gift he wanted the most as a going-away gift. A victory in the 44th annual Mazda Gator Bowl. 34-27, Georgia over Michigan State.